All right, guys. So today we got the Jolts job report. We got Marathon Petroleum just dropped earnings. They came out better than expected, much better than expected for EPS. Revenue came in slightly better than expected. CapEx was 780 million. We got some other stuff too. Hold up. Yeah, Pfizer just released. They came in better than expected. They expected a 22-cent loss per share for Pfizer. They ended up showing 10-cent profit. We'll put this up on screen. There's Pfizer right here. There's Pfizer. Much better than expected EPS. Revenue was slightly lower than expected, but their EPS was much better. They reaffirmed guidance, sees fiscal year revenue between 54.5 and 57.5. They expected 58.7, so a little bit lower fiscal year revenue guidance, to be honest. Way higher than expected EPS guidance, though. So their EPS guidance is better than expected. Their revenue guidance is worse than expected. Their EPS is higher than expected. Their revenue is lower than expected for Pfizer. You can see they're actually gapping up from it, which is interesting. Usually companies with misses in revenue drop, but you never really know. Maybe, Kevin. Maybe, bro. Hey, what's up, Burner? What's up, Corey? What's up, Beach Bum? Pfizer is trash. Yeah. We also had Marathon Petroleum come out. We'll put those numbers up on screen. Pfizer rip it up, though. Look at this. Yeah, we're green again today, dude. Yesterday must have been a really good day. Oh, yesterday was a good day for Tesla. Remember, I bought Tesla, guys. Remember, that's why. Boeing is down, but that's all right because Tesla bounced all the way back yesterday. Essentially all the way back. You love to see it. SoFi is treating us well. We're in SoFi. Tesla back to basically 195s. So we're basically flat on Tesla after being down. So you love to see that. That's nice. Again, today we have the Jolts report, which is a very big jobs report. Very big. Not just that, but we also have Microsoft, Google earnings this evening. Very busy day today. Very busy day. We also have CB consumer confidence data at 10 in it. All right, we'll put that up on screen. We'll fix this. Solana is running UPS. Yeah, UPS did drop numbers this morning as well. UPS is down pretty significantly from it. If they drop it up, I might buy them up, though. But yeah, UPS ended up posting fourth quarter adjusted EPS in line, sales missed. Here's UPS's numbers right here. And yeah, you can see UPS is dipping. Pfizer is still running up though. Here's UPS. Again, here's Tesla. Tesla looks really nice up here at 195. This you know, prior to the last day, we were kind of red on the year, just because it's the start of the year, it's the first month, and we've entered some positions. With this, though, we are now green on the year. You love to see it. We'll take it. Citigroup. Delta, we're now green on it too. Disney, we're probably going to take a little bit off on Disney. Like, we bought the dip in Disney a couple days ago, and it's all the way up to 97. So we're going to take a third off, I think. Oh, we can't. Yeah, we got to wait 8 minutes, but yeah. Q is completely flat on the day ahead of Microsoft. We just got a lot of big earnings today, guys. It's a busy week for markets. Again, today's very busy. Tomorrow's very busy. Today we've got, outside of Pfizer, UPS, and GM, which are dropping this morning. And most of them are already out. AMD, Microsoft, and Google earnings this evening. So very busy. You know, I don't know whether to cover Microsoft or AMD. You know, Microsoft conventionally is what I usually cover. But I'll have to go. Let me check the stats of these streams that I normally do. Yeah, my latest short kind of took off. That's nice. It's got thousands of views. You love to see it. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and search Microsoft. Let's see what pops up. I know I'm probably going to be covering Microsoft. Let's try just MSFT. Yeah, there we go. All right, so Microsoft. Last time we covered both. Okay, Microsoft. Didn't the last AMD earnings do well? It depends on when, where's the AMD earnings call? I'd like to cover both of these. AMD earnings call's at 5. Microsoft earnings call is at 5:30. Okay. And then Google earnings call. Okay, so we're going to cover Google and Microsoft most likely. We're going to have to skip AMD. We'll still cover AMD earnings, but like, yeah. Rate decision tomorrow, yeah, for sure. Busy day the last couple weeks. What's up, Walt? All we do is twin. Kevin, Wesley, Fox, Bob, Roe, Sam, George, Byrne, D, S, Corey, Beach Bum, what's up, dude? Pawn, Elliot, Keegan, what's up, team? Good morning, guys. I'm in Lawson, German, in pound yen. I'm on sell. Tell me, I don't know what you should do, bro, especially there. Yeah, today we got the Jolts report. Very busy day. We'll do a poll. Well, today's Jolts job report calls bullish or bearish market action. Bull, bear, I have no idea. They're going to be the three options. Vote on the poll, guys. Let me know what you guys think. This drops at 10 o'clock today. 10 o'clock. Good morning, John, and all. Supermicro is just going up, up, up. Yeah, Supermicro Semiconductors dropped earnings yesterday. SMCI, they're gapping up pretty extensively from 490s all the way to 560. So Supermicro with a big gap up here. Look at Supermicro, big gap up. I'm assuming they did well with their earnings yesterday. No? Let's see. Yeah, so way higher sales and profit than expected. Good guidance. They raised their fiscal year view to revenue of 14.3 to 14.7. EPS beat, sales beat, revenue beat. There's Supermicro right there. Yeah, and they're gapping up extensively. I almost covered these. Maybe I should have covered these. But yeah. Bad news is good news. All right, so you're asking about the German, British pound, Japanese yen. So this basically kind of tracks the US dollar, I think. I think it does similar stuff. Like if you look at the Dixie and then you look at this, it looks very similar to the Dixie. And so this is kind of doing something inversely to like the market itself. And so I think there's probably a negative correlation. I think it depends on what the Jolts report shows. I think, and again, I think even that is going to be questionable because with all of that said, like if we look at the Japanese yen, here, sorry, that's not it. Wait, yeah. All right, so if we look at this and then we look at like the SPY, it's kind of the opposite, right? Let's put up something like the E-mini is going to be. Let's put up the NASDAQ. All right, the NASDAQ will be a little bit easier to see. All right, so again, what we can see is inverse movement relative to like this, right? So like what I mean by that is like big red breakdown, big green bounce. Although I don't know, these are actually kind of similar, I guess. Let's see. Let's see what the timing of this is probably the key. All right, so at 3 o'clock, we got a big breakdown. At 3 o'clock, we got a big breakdown. Okay, so these actually move kind of similar. The volatility is actually pretty solid in this, though. So, long-term chart. Pretty solid long-term chart, too, this year. If we look at, like, the NASDAQ over the year. So, they basically positive correlated unless something major happens, I guess. But, yeah, we got this triple top up here, I think, you know. And I think with all that, you know, we'll have to wait and see if it breaks out of that range. You know, ranges can be powerful to break. Look, so there's the range. I think you can watch to see when that breaks. Yeah. All right, so let's see what the mortgage data showed. So we did just have mortgage data that dropped. Let's see what it showed. Yeah, so V, the Fed decision is not today. The Fed decision is tomorrow, brother. The Fed decision is not today. The Fed decision is tomorrow. It's on Wednesday. The Fed's decision is always on Wednesday, bro. It's always on Wednesday, no matter what. We also had European GDP come out today, higher than expected year over year, higher than expected quarter over quarter. So higher GDP than expected in Europe. Also, today we don't have mortgage data. That's tomorrow. Today we have the Case-Shiller House Price Index at 9. So we got the Case-Shiller at 9. The Jolts report at 10. tomorrow is when we've got mortgage data and stuff like that. Tomorrow we also have non-farm employment change, Chicago PMI. We've got the Fed rate hike decision, a bunch of other stuff too. So Bitcoin flying. Yeah, Bitcoin all the way up to 43s, almost 44s if it continues. So we'll see. Tesla up a lot. SPY very green day yesterday too. So we'll see if it holds those gains. Do we think Elon's chip and human head will contribute to the current? Probably. Amazon has a new price target of 175. XAU US dollar. Apple. Looking at Apple today, guys. Apple down significantly this morning. Is it time to buy the dip in Apple? I think it might be. We took some profit on Apple a couple days ago. I think I'm going to add a little bit to my Apple trade, to be honest. We just added a little bit. We're going to add some more here. E-mini broke all-time highs yesterday. I see NASDAQ didn't. Yeah, I mean, if we look at the E-mini here, it did hit all-time highs at about 4,957. The question is, when is it going to break 5K? You know, you can look at like the SPY, I think, as well, and gauge this. Like the SPY hit 491.40s. When's the SPY going to break 500 is the question. I'm not sure. But yeah, it did break highs yesterday. Here's the Q. Q's a little bit more volatile, but yeah, E-mini broke lifetime highs. Here's Tesla again, just had a crazy rebound up to 195s. Yeah, I'm not saying anything's a good buy, David. I have no idea whether it's a good buy or not, dude. No idea, you know. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. Might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. You know, today we're going to break 123,000 in subs. We're going to break 123K. Apple, goodbye at this level. Crazy thing, John, is Bitcoin flying with Grayscale still dumping billions. Yeah, it's interesting. Watch Coinbase. We'll see what happens with them. Coinbase is up to 135. Coinbase has had one of the biggest pullbacks with crypto as well. Coinbase dipped from almost 190 down to 120. What's up, Smokey? Yeah, definitely top 3 worst advisors in the world right now. Not an advisor at all, actually. All right, guys. So, Q slightly red. Q very flat. I think the Q is just waiting for these economic reports to happen. All right, here, I gotta mute this real quick. I gotta listen to this. Dang, dude. Okay. Social media, man, makes you think the world's... Honestly, I can't even blame people who think the sky's about to fall. Give away my LSU hat, bro. How dare you? Pew, pew, pew. How dare you even bring this up, dude? This is my LSU hat, man. Don't you dare say anything bad about this hat, bro. Timer? Okay, we got timer. UPS is already out with earnings, Stefan. UPS is already out with earnings. All right, they're already out with earnings. They came in, for UPS earnings, they came in. Man, I'm having a hard time finding UPS. Hit the like button, guys. You know you want to. Do it right now. All right, so yeah, UPS missed EPS, or came in flat EPS. Missed sales. Here's UPS's right here. Yeah, Eurozone GDP data is out this morning. It came in slightly better than expected. It came in at quarter over quarter. It came in at 0%. They expected minus 0.1%. So they expected a negative number, and they came in flat for quarter over quarter GDP. Year over year GDP data for Europe, or Eurozone is what it's called, came in at gain of 0.1% versus a 0%, like a flat expectation that came in slightly higher than that is GDP data in Europe. All right, guys, Q break it down a little bit here. We'll see if it holds. John looks 20 years younger. I'm going to assume you say younger. Do I really look younger without the hat? Do I look younger without the hat? I don't know, bro. Like, my hairline's kind of receding a little bit, I guess. You know what I mean? I disagree, sir. Maybe I do. You know, maybe if my hair is longer, I could see it. You know? Maybe if I do this, you know? Bro, if my hairline starts to push back too much, I'm about to Propecia it up, dude. I'm about to be top 3 Propecia users in the world right now with my hairline. Luckily, like, my dad still has a full head of hair, and so I'm hoping I got my dad's hair. They say it comes from your mother's father. My mom's dad, fun fact, was bald at 25. So, hey, I'm just happy to have hair in my 30s, you know. And I haven't really lost hair either. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling blessed, bro. Honestly, I'm just glad I have hair. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the people I grew up with are not as lucky. They're not as lucky. You know, a lot of people I grew up with are just, frankly, just not as lucky. And you see a lot of people that have, like, comb overs and stuff like that. You know, you see a lot of people that they grow their hair really long. They kind of have little comb overs. You know, again, everybody else is Propecia-ing it up, and I can't even judge. You know, I'm just glad I have hair. I read hats make it worse, bro. I wear a hat every day, and so if hat makes it worse, I would have no hair. But still, I got a full head of hair. My hair's actually surprisingly thick for my age. In my 30s, my hair's pretty thick. You know, my whole family makes fun of me. In the pandemic, Carol learned to cut my hair too. It was hilarious. And again, I told her this the other day. Carol learned to cut my hair. It was at a point in which most of the time it would be good. Like I would say like 70% of the time Carol did a good job cutting my hair. And that's good. You know, 70%, you know, listen, and it's convenient. If your wife can learn how to cut your hair, great. The problem though was those 30% of times where it just didn't look right. You know, Carol had like a third of the time Carol would just chop my sideburns off completely. And then it was bad. And then cut it way too close on the top. It was just rough, bro. It was rough, dude. So this time we were debating. Carol's like, hey, baby, I can cut it. And I was like, you know, not today, baby, not today, you know. Maybe next time, you know. Why are we talking about hair? Because we want to talk about hair. It's my show. I'll talk about what I want. I do what I want here. Yeah, the Walmart guy's a different story, bro. The Walmart guy, I can tell that story real quick right now. Go Tigers, Rayleigh. Go Tigers. Yeah, hook me up with that like button, team. You know you want to. Anyways, we got Tesla basically straddling the VWAP level. You want to know why you should watch the volume weighted average price? Look at this. Bounce. Like, it's just literally just bouncing at that volume weighted average price level. It's one of the reasons it's such a powerful indicator. We posted a short about some of these strategies, and those shorts are getting pretty good views. Like, our shorts have been taken off a little bit. We got thousands of views on our shorts, mostly talking about these little short-term strategies we use regularly. And it's music to my ears too, because I freaking hate editing. I hate editing with a passion, and so I'm glad these shorts are doing okay. Bro, you have so much more hair in your forehead sides than me. I am 26 with both parents have quite young hair for their age. Yeah, I mean, thanks, bro. I appreciate it, you know. Yeah, the Walmart story, the infamous Walmart story. And this is a life lesson. If there ever was a lesson, this was it, okay? So I go to Walmart one day with my wife, Carol. We were dating at the time. So this is when my wife and I were dating still. We had just moved to Houston. And we go to Walmart one day, and I need a haircut. And so for me, I'm not like snooty with haircuts, you know, like I'll get a haircut anywhere, dude. I don't care. Like I said, I let Carol cut it sometimes during the pandemic. Carol cut my hair. Anyway, so we go to like whatever Walmart's haircut place is. We're just going to call it Wall Cuts because that's all I can think of. I don't know what it's called. But we go to Walmart Cuts, and the first red flag should have been there's a bald man there, you know. And again, I'm not judging bald men, but like he starts telling me that he's filling in for somebody else, you know. And at this point in time in my life, I'm still not convinced that my guy didn't just kind of walk in and be like, yep, I'm cutting everybody's hair today, and nobody really stopped him. And so anyways, this man starts cutting my hair, and he clips my ear, like my left ear, and it starts bleeding. And so I'm in this awkward situation of like, I know he's nipped my ear. He knows he's nipped my ear, but he doesn't want me to know that he's nipped my ear, right? So I just got to act oblivious to it, like, okay, bro, like, just go ahead and finish cutting my hair, please. And so he moves over to the other side of my head, and then he clips that ear as well. So then that ear starts bleeding. So at this point, I've got both of my ears bleeding at the same time, like simultaneous ear bleeding situation. And at that point, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I was like, I'm just going to let him finish, you know. This man starts telling me crazy stories about how, like, people are getting thrown in jail for using a specific type of clipper or something, man. I don't even know what he said. And when I leave, bro, my hair is the craziest haircut. It was like super short on the top, super thick on the sides and back. It was just the weirdest haircut ever, you know, both of my ears bleeding. And so me trying to just let things work, I pay for it, you know, don't even say a word to him. And I'm like, look, I'm just going to let this go. Immediately go to like Sport Clips, and I'm like, yo, fix my hair. But never again. I think the life lesson there is never go to Walmart to get your hair cut. You know, maybe they've gotten better, but just never go to Walmart. You know, again, I'm not a snooty haircut person, but you just never go to Walmart to get your hair cut. You know, that's the lesson. Anyways, you're welcome. That's the Walmart haircut story. Yeah, no, 100% George. Listen, I learned my lesson, bro. Like I said, it's a life lesson if there ever was one today on this YouTube channel. You know, you're welcome, guys. I got pictures of it too. Like, you know how like the cloud will be like, hey, you remember this period of time, and it'll show you old pictures with like a specific theme. There's one of them that shows me going like this, and it's like my ears bloody. You know, good times. Corning dropped some earnings here. They dropped core EPS of 39 cents. They expected 39 cents. Core revenue of 3.27. They expected 3.25. First quarter core EPS view came in at 32 to 38 cents. They expected 36 cents. First quarter core revenue view of 3.1 bill. They expected 3.15 bill. Anticipated quarter one to be the low quarter of the year for GLW. I don't know much about GLW stock, but yeah, they don't really move that much either. Yeah, again, I'm not complaining. I'm just happy to have hair, to be honest. Meta at 402. Meta earnings tomorrow. I'm going to be covering all of the earnings, David. So we're going to be covering AMD, Google, and Microsoft earnings. In terms of earnings call, we'll probably stream Google earnings followed by Microsoft earnings call. So we're probably going to stream both Google's earnings call and Microsoft's earnings call is how we're probably going to do it. Coinbase still up to almost 136s here. Meta's pulling back to 402s. Meta has just had such a crazy year, and they drop earnings tomorrow as well. Look at this yearly chart for Meta. It's honestly impressive. Like, look at this yearly chart. This is the last year of Meta price action. What a crazy chart. I remember being super skeptical of Facebook and Meta as well, mostly because I thought TikTok was eating their lunch a little bit, and I thought that there was vulnerabilities. I think one of the things that Facebook has done incredibly well, is they've basically created a competitor to eBay on Facebook, right? So like a lot of young people don't use Facebook as a social media platform, but they use Facebook Marketplace heavily. And so it's really a competitor with eBay. It's one of the reasons you've seen eBay lose interest over time is because people are kind of gravitating towards Facebook Marketplace and stuff like it. You could try finasteride. Yeah, I mean, that's finasteride. Yeah, that's Propecia. I don't really have hair loss though. I've got like slight mature hairline, I think is what it's called. But my crown is still thick. Like, I don't really lose hair, and I'm in my mid 30s, so I'm hopefully that's how it's gonna stay. You know. But you better believe if I start losing hair, I'm gonna Propecia finasteride it up. You know. Check out GM. Did GM release? Yeah, GM is flying up right now too. Look at GM. GM did come out with their earnings. Yeah, so look at GM. GM gapping all the way up to almost $39 a share. They posted earnings of... They posted sales beat estimates, adjusted EPS beat. Guidance was way better than expected. Look at their guidance for GM. So look at their guidance. All right, guys. Hmm. I'm watching this video of like this potential transportation thing. I still don't understand what the purpose of it is. Oh, it's public transportation. Maybe the future will look something like this. All right, guys. Jolts is at 10 o'clock today, 10 o'clock. Yeah, GM is up a lot. I mean, the SPY's up so much and the Q is up so much. Like, SPY broke lifetime highs yesterday. So, you know, it's doing fine. You know, again, SPY broke lifetime highs. It's up to 491s. You know, right around 491s. The previous closing price is right at that level. Yeah, Pfizer's been out. All the big boy earnings are out basically right now. And again, this evening we got a bunch of stuff. Mostly beats in terms of EPS. We'll put a video up here. All right. All right, guys, so we got Pfizer, UPS earnings today, GM, JetBlue, MSCI, what else we got? Marathon Petroleum, HCA Healthcare, AOS, DHR, SYY, Johnson Controls, OSK, yeah, there's so many earnings this morning. There's no way we can cover all of these. And if you follow me on at Beginner Trades, we post like a breakdown of all the earnings that drop. If you haven't already, LC Lending Club. Are they this morning or I think they're this evening, right? Yeah, they're this evening. They're expecting 2-cent profit. What's up, Biggie? Yeah, you wanna really lose some weight, JT? Do jujitsu, bro. Seriously, do jujitsu. Like when I started jujitsu, bro, I was like 180 pounds. Like 180 pounds. Since I've started, I'm down to like 165 within a couple months, very quickly, without even trying. Like I don't do any exercise. I don't go to the gym and do a bunch of cardio. When I go to the gym, I mostly just lift weights. And so, yeah, jiu-jitsu really is a powerful weight loss tool, man. You will lose weight. AMD earnings today, very interesting. Microchip, we had super micro earnings. Kill it yesterday, dude. Absolutely amazing. Gapping up. Just recently broke highs. Look at super micro this morning at the 562s. FedEx is probably tanking in sympathy with UPS. Yeah, so it's probably just sympathy with UPS. UPS dropped earnings. They're down a lot, and so they're probably down in that regard from it. All right, so Musk said the first Neuralink product is called telepathy. It enables control of your phone or computer and through them almost any device just by thinking, according to Unusual Whale. All right, guys. All right, team. Tesla, S&P 500, all up pretty big over the last day. Super micro is super interesting. We can look at the Q as well. Nvidia, another interesting stock, up to freaking 630s. This is another huge one, massively benefiting from, again, super micro semiconductor earnings yesterday. Just pumped up Nvidia and other microchip stocks. The other interesting one is Microsoft here. Microsoft up to freaking 414s. Crazy. Just huge gains here for this one. Huge gains. Looking at our poll numbers, we got 47% bullish, 30% bearish, 28.3 honest folks saying, I don't know. You called that. I called what? I mean, I love to take credit for things. You guys know. But, like, what did I call? Yeah, we're streaming AMD tonight. We're streaming AMD, Microsoft, Google. There's always casualty before the kinks get ironed out. Yeah, for sure. That's kind of how it goes. But yeah, Microsoft up big. Tesla up big. We bought the dip in Tesla at 180 or so. SPY still trying to go green. SPY right under the 200 EMA volume weighted average price level. We did make some money in futures yesterday, I think, as well. Today's going to be a very, very busy day. The rest of this week is just going to be packed full of stuff. Like every single day this week is going to be very, 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 very busy. A lot of big stuff. A lot of stuff dropping. All right, I don't know what's going on with my stream, but for whatever reason, it's acting all funny. We're back, though. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. You should be able to. We hooked up the Wi-Fi. That should fix it. There we go. All right, we're back. Did my stream lag at all just now? Did my stream lag at all just now? Yeah, I mean, we're back. Sorry, I had to hook up my Wi-Fi. No, it paused. Okay, we're back. Seems fine to me. Good. All right, guys. Yeah, Microsoft up to 413s. But Bear said crash yesterday. I know, man. Listen, I try to tell everybody. Nobody freaking listens, dude. Honestly, the craziest part, and again, I'm not even saying I'm right, but like the craziest part is that I've been doing this over and over again for like years now. It's the same thing. Bears saying we're extended, bears saying we're overextended, and maybe they're right. Bears saying we have to drop, we have to pull back. The market's unreasonable, they say. Market just churns up. Like, people have to really understand the nature of markets, which is on the upside. Like, you can try to take a contrarian stance and bet against, like, markets being strong. It's a risky freaking bet, Why? Because sectors grow over time. Technology grows. Inflation gets worse. And overall markets are mostly going to push up over time. That's just part of it. Yeah. And again, y'all have to understand, like, when you find, like, once you start to recognize this, I think it becomes easier. Okay, so again, I'm going to show you guys the history of this, right? Okay, so here's a weekly chart. Okay, so we had this massive correction already. So like the most recent correction was only a few years ago, like where we had a big correction to the downside, right? Like that was only a couple years ago. And during this period of time, again, everybody here, like all your favorite YouTubers that live stream, like a lot of them at least, were telling you the market was going to crash right here. They were saying the market's going to crash. It's going to keep dropping. It's going to be doom and gloom, blah, 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 right? In the end, they were wildly wrong. And the market started to push up. As the market started to push up here, this is when they started saying, hey, well, the market's extended. The market's too extended on the upside. It doesn't make sense. The market's too extended. We have to crash. We have to drop. And then the market continued to go up. And then now we're saying it again right here. We had this little mini correction. Again, the nature of the market, you have to think of it as a stair-step pattern. Like a stair-step pattern. I can agree with the bears in this regard, right? I think it might be due for a small pullback like this. I think that's certainly possible, and that's certainly a reasonable expectation. But the overarching point is that it doesn't have to happen. Like, the interesting part of markets is that it doesn't have to pull back. Like, again, the market is very consistent in terms of edge. 10% on average 10% on average yearly, which means that on good years like last year, it's going to move up much more than 10%. Because again, it's compensating for this. We had a full bearish year where the whole year was super red, right? In order to get that 10% average, it has to compensate for this, which means on good years, it's going to move up much more than 10%. And it doesn't mean we're extended, because that's the nature of the market over the last century of data. Now, again, I can agree it might be due for a small pullback. I can certainly agree to that. And so I'm not against you, bears. Again, I agree. I think we might be extended on the upside. But as long as you're flexible with that prediction, I'm cool with it. If you're too rigid saying we have to do something, like we have to pull back, we have to drop, you don't understand markets. The market doesn't have to do anything, and it certainly rips up in everybody's face sometimes. It just ignores extension. Mostly from, again, right now we can see one of the root causes is the big AI boom. Now, the vulnerabilities of markets are this, right? So let's talk about it, okay? There's a couple vulnerabilities on the upside as well, and so I'll go ahead and just to be balanced, we'll talk about that as well. The overextension we might specifically have is there's a couple reasons we might pull back. All right, there's a couple reasons we might pull back drastically as well. So again, I'm not against you, bears. Just be flexible. All right. What I'm saying is that, okay, AI is up a lot. Okay, a lot of the major crashes we've had historically have been because sectors were inflated. All right, what are some examples of this? The easiest example to look at is the dot-com crash, right? So back in 2000, and right around the peak of 2000, like right at 1999 and 2000, what happened is that the internet was born, or like in the early 90s, the internet really came alive. It was before that, but it wasn't really useful for consumers, right? So early 90s, internet was born, and companies started going public around their online businesses, right? And a lot of them weren't even making money. It's an interesting story. Prior to a company called Netscape going public, the standard of IPOs was that you had to have like a certain amount of years profitable as a company before you could IPO publicly. It wasn't like a hard rule, but it was a standard that most people followed. the infrastructure mostly followed that, right? And that all changed was when a company called Netscape. It was actually a browsing company. So imagine like Google Chrome or Safari or so forth and so on, right? Imagine a company like that, but in the early internet days when the internet was not that easy to maneuver around. Like, it wasn't that easy to look around. And so what Netscape did was provide a browser service that you would pay for. You would go to Walmart and buy Netscape browser, and it would bring you to like stores and media and news and like all these different things that were otherwise more difficult to navigate to and from without a browser service, right? And so this is a company called Netscape. When they IPO'd before they were actually profitable. They IPO'd and they made billions of dollars. This is a company that ultimately changed the standard of IPOs. Overall, they changed the standard of IPOs. And so anyways, eventually, like, what happened was that Microsoft wanted to partner with them. They refused to partner with Microsoft for a few reasons. And then what Microsoft ended up doing is Microsoft started including their browser at the time, which was Internet Explorer, free in-house with the Microsoft operating system, right? And Netscape virtually got killed overnight from that. Like, once Microsoft started including free browsers of their Internet Explorer browser, completely free in-house with the Microsoft operating systems, Netscape, which was a paid service, you had to pay for it, was done. It was useless. Microsoft had the vision, and it's a really profound vision that you've seen happen over and over again in business for the last 50 years. And really, it's probably been longer than that. The strategy that Microsoft took is that we can offer this for free and make money on the back end, And it's kind of what I do with my channel as well. I provide free stuff, and I make money through sponsors and stuff like that. We don't charge for content or courses or anything like that. We make money on the back end. Microsoft, in a much grander way, of course, did the same thing with their Internet Explorer browser. Essentially killed Netscape overnight. And eventually, I think Netscape sold to AOL for only a couple $1 million. And this was a company that was valued at billions, But again, business is cutthroat, man. Anyways, that changed the standard of IPOs, where companies started IPOing before they were actually profitable. And we've seen a lot of IPOs now of companies come out, software companies. Anyways, that whole thing sparked a crash in the market and around the year 2000. Again, what sparked the crash is that once Netscape did that and IPO'd, anybody with .com at the end of their name started IPOing, and they were just a massive bubble in online companies in the year 2000. Like, basically anybody with .com at the end went public, made a bunch of money, were highly valued, overvalued, and there was a huge bubble in markets, right? I think there are some similarities to the current AI microchip boom, to what happened in 2000 versus what we have today with microchips and AI. I do think there's some similarities. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to crash. And if we look at what happened in 2000, like if we look at the SPY, let me see if it tracks that long. I think it does, but it might not. Yeah. So again, if we look at the SPY in 2000, it wasn't like a major crash that you might think of. Like, this is the .com crash. So essentially, here's 2000. This was more so just a correction, because it wasn't a huge dump like 1987 Black Monday, but it was a major correction. And so, you can see for years we downtrended from the .com crash. For years we downtrended. And again, this was specifically, to bring it all back to home, this was specifically from an inflated sector bubble correcting, Now, this is one of the longest bear markets in history, and eventually it led into 2008. So when we were finally back up, so we had this major correction here, it lasted until about 2003. When we finally made our way back up, we hit the mortgage crisis in 2007 right here. We hit the mortgage crisis, and then again, just to give you some history of markets, then we got the big mortgage disaster, which again, as you can see, relative to the .com correction, it was much more steep, much more of an actual crash versus a correction. And anyways, since then we basically pumped up big and we're way up here now. But yeah, that's one of the arguments on the downside. It's one of the arguments on the downside. But I think the overarching point I have to make here is you have to be flexible. Nobody knows. And it's certainly possible that AI is just that next influential thing that is big and that companies and markets grow with it. You know? Anyways, there's the SPY. SPY is down, but remember, SPY broke lifetime highs yesterday. And so it's understandable that the SPY is dropping because, again, we're not just going to go straight up. But SPY broke lifetime highs. We're still pretty close to lifetime highs on the SPY at 491, at 491's. Crazy market yesterday where we ripped up and broke lifetime highs before the closing bell, and we're still pretty close to that level. Nvidia ripping up with super micro semiconductor stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, eventually crash predictors will be correct, right? Eventually crash predictors will be correct. You can throw darts at a dartboard. Eventually you're going to hit it. But, I mean, you can use somebody like Michael Burry as that example. And I don't know, I think sometimes the people that are pushing for a crash, and I'm not saying this is everybody, so again, I'm not attacking you here. Please don't think that I'm like attacking you, because I'm not, like, I'm really not. Like, I'm not attacking anybody, right? But I think sometimes the people that are pushing for a crash just don't have much else to live for, right? So maybe they're not where they want to be in life, they're not where they want to be in business, and they see other people that are, and that makes them want the whole system to fail. You know what I mean? I think you see that a lot of the time too. I think there's a lot of different people, and some people may truly think we're going to crash, and that's fine. But I think other people are just not where they want to be, and they're just kind of negative about it and wanting, you know, if they can't have it, nobody can kind of thing, you know. What do you think about Cathie Wood's stock portfolio? I think most of those stocks in Cathie Wood's portfolio are going to be fine. I think it's a longer term portfolio though, and I think if you zoom in with a magnifying glass on it, you know, there might be some bad entries, but I think overall it's probably going to be fine. I want the market to drop because I missed the rally, like most bears who want the prices back down to make money on the way there. Yeah, I mean, I get it, you know. But there's a very common misconception about trading, and it goes something like this, right? Like the misconception goes, a lot of the time people wait for entries, right? They wait for entries. They say, hey, I'm gonna buy X stock when it pulls back to X amount, and then it rips up, and then they say, oh, well, now it's up too much. I'm gonna buy X stock when it pulls back to X amount, and then it rips up again. And so the point is, so it's so far above where they were originally planning to buy it. Like if you're that, it's just they're missing out on opportunity. And I think the thing to understand, and one of the most effective tools for that fear of extension, is just dollar cost averaging. Like DCA, if you're worried about extension. You know, if you don't know what dollar cost averaging is, it's making periodic buys in specific time intervals regardless of price, right? So it's like every week I'm going to buy 20 shares of Apple as an example, you know. So week goes by, I buy 20 shares, Apple's at 195, great. Apple's at 185, great. Apple's at 200, great. I'm buying 20 shares regardless of that. That's what dollar cost averaging is. And so it's a way to curb volatility over time, and you worry less about entries. Are we lagging right now? I don't think we are. Everything looks fine. Y'all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, we've had a bunch of big earnings today. We still have, okay, maybe this is just frozen. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So my player's just frozen. All good. All right, guys. We got the Jolts report today. It's a big report. Yeah, the rough part about Texas is property taxes, man. Property taxes are absolutely ridiculous. Jolts report is a job report. It's very big. It's a very relevant, very important report. Okay, guys, so the Jolts report is supposed to show, the Jolts report is supposed to show 8.75 million, 8.75 million. We'll put this up on screen. It drops at 10 a.m. All right, hold on, baby. Taxes are 7,000. No, it depends on how much your house is, not the square foot of your house mark. You know what I mean? And it depends on where you are. Like, there's some counties in Texas that you're going to be paying like 2.2%, which is just obscene. Just absolutely ridiculous. There's other places where you're going to be paying much less. And so it really depends on what county you're in here in Texas. Again, a lot of people talk about Texas being no income state tax. Or, no state income tax state. But you pay it back in property taxes without question. Like, you get hosed in property taxes. You know, some places, again, you're paying 2.2 million or 2.2%. Yeah, 3.65% is way too high. Way too high. I can never do it. Again, to put it into perspective, that is a crazy percentage here. A crazy percentage. Like, look at this. So again, so say you got a $500,000 house, right? Again, in some counties it's 2.2%. So for a $500,000 house, you're gonna pay 11 grand a year. A year. 11 grand a year. Like, imagine like how much, if you owned a rental property, imagine how much that's gonna eat your profits on that rental property. You know, again, the 3.6% is absolutely obscene. Again, like, let's do $500,000 house times that 3.06%. Or 3.65%. $18,000 a year for a $500,000. Freaking $20,000 a year. That's like a normal person's salary in some places, man. It's just crazy. I don't know about a boat, but I don't know. But nobody wants to live in a boat. I get seasick, dude. I get seasick. All right, so BLK and Fidelity now hold more than $4.46 billion of Bitcoin and over $2 billion each of Bitcoin and or $2 billion each. They're buying 370 million Bitcoin every day on average. $370 million in Bitcoin on, I should say, clarify. All right, so expected revenue this year for Amazon is 637 billion. For Apple is almost 400 billion. For Google, it's 287 billion. For Microsoft, it's 244 billion. Meta, 151 billion. Tesla, 113 billion. Nvidia, 94 billion. $1.9 trillion in revenue expected from the top 7 largest companies in the world, the Magnificent Seven. So interesting. What's worse, the people who pretend to support a football club to sell more pictures of their privates, or the men who fall for it? Honestly, bro, I feel bad for a lot of the guys. Honestly, I'll say this. So on social media, one of the most hilarious things on social media is that sometimes you'll see these big traders that are like following you, or that you're following, or whomever. And a lot of them don't. I don't know if a lot of them don't realize, or a lot of them do realize it, but they're just so incredibly thirsty for women that they just don't put 2 and 2 together. I'll see some pretty well-known traders on social media all up in girls' comments, like you'll have a picture, you'll have this like lightly dressed picture of a female, and these traders will be all up in their comments like, hey, what's up? It's like, dude, they're never gonna like you, bro. Like, they're never gonna like you. They're just hoping you buy their pictures in their OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, create an alt account for that, dude. Like, create a different account. Like, everybody can see what you're doing, bro. Like, you're in here hearting all these like naked pictures and like all this stuff. It's like, dude, snap out of it, bro. They're never gonna like you. I could never do it. I just could never do it. I'm never gonna give some random girl on the internet money for nothing. Like, why? Like, if you're that thirsty for women, you gotta go out and meet somebody, bro. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Snap out of it, guys. Snap out of it, you know? Will SoFi hold today? I'm in SoFi. I hope it does. Again, I'm not going to mention names, but there's actually quite a bit of like other YouTubers that I see on social media that are out here just being thirsty on Twitter, you know. Like, I think men are lonely, you know what I mean? And I think women are lonely too. I'm not saying they're not, but I think men are more susceptible to it. Men online are scary. Will Chewy fall last month? I was in Chewy for a while. I think I'm finally out of it. Oh, no, I'm still in Chewy. I'm green on it, you know. Average price is 16s. It's at almost 20. So, nice little percentage gains there, but it's small. It's a very small trade for Chewy. I think men today find security and safety with online encounters versus real life. Yeah, people are just desperate, bro, is what it is. And like, I think it has to do with willpower and discipline. You know what I mean? Like, I think some men have very little discipline online. And so if they see like a pretty girl posting half-naked pictures of themselves on social media or OnlyFans, like, they have to interact with them, and they get like a dopamine hit when they do. And I think smart people have the discipline to be like, hey, I see that picture, but like, I'm not going to interact with it at all. That's bad. You know, that creates a bad thing. You know what I mean? That looks bad, you know? Yeah, I'm in SoFi right now. I hope SoFi goes up. It's dipping down a little bit today, though. But yeah, SoFi broke $9. Yeah, hit that like button, guys. What's up, Gabe? Yeah, I'm not gonna disrespect my wife like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that creates a bad standard. I'm not judging anybody. However, whatever anybody wants to do, let them do it. I'm for being allowed to do whatever you want to do as long as it's not hurting somebody else. But I'm not about to do that. You know. Again, the dollar index slightly red on the day. So the dollar index at 103.40s. The SPY still at 490.60s. Yeah, today's a crazy big day. It's just a very busy day. The Jolts report, Microsoft, AMD, Google earnings. Tesla will surge 550% to $1,200 a share, says David Barron. He manages a fund with his father, Ron Barron. Tesla up a little bit. Dixie bouncing. SPY still moving up as well. We got that 200 EMA and the volume weighted average price level on the SPY right here. So we do have that level holding. Nvidia still churning up. Tesla, again, still trying to make moves. What if jobs openings come out higher than expected? I think the market wants lesser job report. I think the market wants a lesser job report. Personally, that's what I think. I might be wrong, but I think the market wants a lesser job report. Powell has consistently stated that he thinks the labor market is too robust, and that's an obstacle to hitting the 2% inflation goal over time. And so in that regard, he wants to just push down the labor market. And so I think jobs coming in too high will make the market react negatively. I think the market actually might want lower job numbers versus higher job numbers in that way. But again, I might be wrong. Square? Dude, I haven't traded Square in a minute. It's up to almost 71s, though. It's Cash App. Square is Cash App. Hey, thanks, Beach Bum. And remember, guys, join our Discord. Our Discord completely free. Yeah, what's up, trading? Yeah, I mean, Marley, again, so it all has to do with inflation. You have to understand the big nuance of like markets and inflation and recession fears, right? So there's always a parallel between recession fears and inflation fears. Not a parallel. There's always a correlation, a negative correlation most of the time with inflation and recession fears. The more people are fearing higher prices and inflation, the more they want to discourage jobs. And in that regard, over the last few years, higher job numbers has made the market react negatively in a lot of periods. Because again, the logic of it is that the more people are working, the more people are spending. The more people are spending, the more businesses will raise prices, thus exacerbating inflation, right? That is the logic of it. And again, on the other side, the less people are working, the less people are spending, the less businesses raise prices, the lower prices go, and thus we hit our 2% inflation goal over time is the logic of it. But again, there's a constant battle. It's a constant balancing act between recession fears in that stock drops, low GDP, less economic growth, which all signal recession fears, weaker banks, right? And inflation fears with high prices, a robust job market, so forth and so on. And so, again, more people working and spending would be good if inflation was under control. But inflation hasn't really been under control in the last 2-3 years. And so that is where, a cooling labor market is what a lot of the Fed wants. They've been very open and vocal about wanting to push the labor market down. And if you really truly think about it in that regard, that's kind of what they're trying to do with rate hikes, is they're trying to discourage spending, right? What happens with rate hikes, again, the FOMC meeting is next week, right? So with the FOMC meeting next week, to understand the nature of economics here with the Fed decisions, every 6 weeks the Fed makes that decision, how much they want to raise, lower, or pause interest rates. When they raise interest rates, they're raising the federal funds rate, which makes it more expensive for banks in a lot of ways, specifically through bond purchases and stuff like that. And what banks do in turn is they raise interest rates to consumers. When they raise interest rates to consumers, consumers stop spending as much. And so businesses must then in turn lower prices. So it's a cycle, but it takes about a year. There's a lagging effect to it. And so in that regard, when inflation's really bad, what does the Fed do? They raise rates really aggressively. They take what's called a hawkish stance. When you hear hawkish and dovish, hawkish means aggressive rate hikes, contracting monetary policy, like they're trying to contract the economy, push down the economy because of inflation. If inflation is more so under control and, inflation is better and more under control, they're less likely to raise rates. They're more likely to pause, which is what we've seen over the last few cycles, or they're likely to cut rates, which is predicted to be in May or March. And so in that regard, there's a balancing act with both the Fed and markets and inflation. It's not always, I think a lot of times people, bears will take whatever argument they can for the market going to crash. An example of this, again, I've talked about this many times before, right? But if we look at a weekly chart on the dollar index, right? On the dollar index, again, back in 2020 with like quantitative easing, in 2021 after basically quantitative easing and money printing, what did the bear say? The bear said, oh, the dollar is too high. Inflation is the worst it could ever be. The sky's going to fall. Quantitative easing and money printing has caused inflation to be out of control. The sky's going to fall, guys. The sky's going to fall. Then, when the Fed starts raising rates aggressively and starts discouraging spending, and the dollar starts to fall from it, you can see the dollar start to fall here. What did the same people say? The same people said, hey guys, the dollar is crashing, they say. The dollar is crashing. It's the end of the world. The sky is falling. You know, the dollar is crashing. It's the end of the world. And so no matter what happens, no matter if inflation is bad and we have to raise rates aggressively and discourage the labor markets and discourage spending, that's bad. That signals a crash, right? And then you take the other side of it, which is, you know, the dollar's ripping up, prices are going high, inflation's out of control. Then they say, oh, guys, inflation's out of control. It's really bad. And so one of the things that I respect is flexibility. Like, if you can recognize both of these nuances and not call for a market crash, great. But if you're calling for a market crash on both sides of this, you really just don't know what you're talking about, and you're really just kind of yelling the sky's falling to me. And again, right now what we see in the dollar index is we see flat action. So the dollar index has been flat since the beginning of last year, basically. We've had a big range, big up moves, big down moves, but the dollar index has been mostly sideways in this period of time. And so again, you got to understand broad economics and what it all means. But it's never like one side. I think right now what we've seen over the last few months is we've seen pauses in rate hikes, a more balanced stance. And again, tomorrow will be really interesting. We have earnings and all this good stuff. So it'll be a really interesting week for economics. So you're saying economies don't collapse. What I'm saying, Marley, is that yelling the sky's going to fall on both sides is unnecessary. I think, again, one thing that I respect here is a diversity of opinion and different things, right? Like, you got to be flexible. Everything can't be definitively, this is going to happen now, soon. And then when you're wrong, you double down on it. And then when you're wrong, you double down on it again. What I respect is being flexible, because I think people who truly have lots of market experience, there's a couple things they understand. One of them is that the market doesn't have to do anything. You know, the market can go up, down, sideways. It doesn't have to do anything. Number two, you have to recognize that stock market crashes are wildly overpredicted by people like Michael Burry, by most of the time, again, they're just wildly overpredicted. You know, you see it with Michael Burry. He's called 20 market crashes over the last 10 years. If you look back just in terms of statistics, market crashes and corrections happen maybe once every 10 years, maybe. Right? There's only been 3 periods of history in which we've had more than one bearish year in a row, and they roughly happen once a decade, maybe. Sometimes longer term than that. You know, there's been definitely periods of time where we've had much longer term actions. Like from 1987 to 2000 was about 13 to 14 years. So we have decades in between sometimes. And I think you got to understand, nobody knows. We've already had a little mini correction back. If we look at the SPY, we've already had a little mini correction back at the end of 2022. So like, look at this. We've already had a pretty major correction here. You know, and this is a period in which the market dropped 15-20% in this period in late 21, early 2022. And so we've had a recent major correction. The market's not just going to crash every other year and do this just to make the bears happy. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not how markets work. And it's something, you know, it's something that we see here moving forward, in which the market has just been breaking highs because the natural state of it is going to go up, you know? If AMD drops, I think the dip will be bought anyway. Yeah, I mean, AMD's interesting. It depends on earnings. Microchips are huge. And so AMD earnings are this afternoon. AMD has had a crazy run. Look at the extension here. All the way up to 180s. I wonder what the PE ratios are for this, though. The market doesn't have to crash, but it must correct. Oh, absolutely it must, you know. Yeah, bro. You're just, again, it's just too negative, Marley. Good day to you, sir. Again, AMD at 177s. What's the expectation for Jolts? So Jolts are expected, again, today Jolts are expected at 8.75 million. So it's funny. It's like people get mad at me for saying the same thing over and over again, but in hindsight, I've been correct about it all. You know, and I think the people that get the most upset with me saying this and discouraging people from constantly predicting crashes are the same ones that are predicting crashes, you know. PE is 1400. I don't think it's actually that high. Let me take a look at AMD's PE ratio and see. Like, look, let me take a look. Again, we got to calculate some of the. I saw it like Benzinga had it at some crazy high level, but let's calculate it. I'm sure it's high for PE ratio. I see it has PE ratio at 1.6K. I don't think that's correct. Let me look this up though. Let's see, earnings. Okay, so yeah, let's calculate PE. All right, so AMD currently at about 177. All right, so again, let's calculate this. All right, so we get 0.7 plus 0.58 plus 0.6 plus 0.69 is the yearly EPS of AMD, about 257s. And then so the way you calculate PE, which is price to earnings, 257, you take 177 divided by 2.57. And then that gives it a PE ratio of about 69. So again, it's not 1.6 thousand. That's not the PE ratio. I'm not sure where they got that number, but it's definitely not that. PE ratio is about 69 for AMD, which is high. It's not good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good PE ratio, but it's also not like obscenely crazy high in which it's in the thousands. That's not true either. Yeah, I mean, maybe the market corrects soon. Again, if the market does correct, I think it's going to look something like this, right? I think it could crash as well. But if the market corrects, I think it's going to look something like the 2000s crash, in which, and again, in 2000, internet stocks were wildly extended, wildly pushed up in an extended way. Like anything with .com was IPOing and getting valued at millions or billions of dollars. And eventually most of those companies failed. And so, not most of them. I would say eventually a lot of the .com companies failed, or at least came back down to earth a little bit. And that's what started the .com crash of the 2000s. And I think if we do crash, it's going to be something like that, but with AI and microchips and NVIDIA and AMD and SMCI and stuff like that, right? Like, I think if we do have a major crash, that's what it's going to look like. Hey, what's up, Doe? Yeah, and again, sorry guys, I had to ban the guy. Like, listen, if it's to a point where, if it's to a point in which somebody just keeps like flooding the chat with negativity, the market's going to crash, the market's going to drop, and then I try to engage with that and give you the other side of that, and then the person gets weird with me and starts like getting disrespectful, they're just going to get banned. You know what I mean? I know people say I say the same thing over and over again, but again, the reason I do this is because it might not be the coolest thing to do. Like, I know I see a lot of other big YouTubers constantly predicting market crashes that they've been wildly wrong about. But again, in hindsight, I've been right about most of this. And I think people have to understand that, like, crashes are over predicted, and you got to look at the other side. You can't just constantly yell out market crash, the sky's falling. Eventually you might be right, but how many times were you wrong before then? I think is the point. Anyways, dollar index moving up. Let's see what the SPY does. Tesla still trying. AMD earnings today. The other one we have today is Microsoft. We've got Microsoft up here. Again, Microsoft at 412s. Yeah, good day to you, sir. Yeah, if the market does crash, again, I say it all the time. Yeah, he wasn't gonna last long anyway, you know. Just too emotional, I guess is the easiest way to put it, Pawn. But no, if the market does crash, I'm just going to buy the dip. This is what I did last time. This is what I'll do this time. If the market crashes like significantly, I'm just going to buy the dip in Apple and Amazon and Walmart and stuff like that. Yeah, 100% Ahmed. That's exactly right, bro. He said, well, I think you already know people that scream the market is going to crash either do not have a long-term portfolio and are wishing for it so they could get in, or have puts or shorts and play. 100%. And I think it's a huge mistake if you do not have a long-term portfolio team. I think it's a massive mistake. Like, if you don't have a long-term portfolio and you are instead just kind of short-term trading constantly and losing, you're making a mistake. Even if you think the market's extended and going to crash, I think dollar cost averaging over medium-term periods of time into only blue chips. Do not do it with mid caps. It's only blue chip stocks, right? If you DCA into blue chip stocks over a decade plus, you're almost guaranteed to make money. Do you really think Nvidia's earnings growth can come near what it did last year? I mean, it depends. I think there's a good argument for extension in microchips right now. I think there's a really good argument for it. Again, I think it could parallel the 2000 crash, the dot-com crash. But it doesn't have to, and I think sometimes sectors take off, and they're just that influential over markets. I think AI and microchips are truly influential. I think the technology is legitimate, and I think when you look at machine learning, AI, Chat GPT, and all that stuff, I think the sector is huge, and it's genuinely technologically game-changing as a industry, as a sector. The question is, does it correct a little bit before it runs again, I think. But again, it could also correct back down and crash. But it's just because we are up a lot. But it doesn't mean we have to, and I think anything could happen. You know. Not all the time Pfizer was considered a blue chip, Disney, PayPal. Yeah, but even those companies, right? Like, if you look at a weekly chart for the last 10 years, most of those companies are still green. You know what I mean? Over a decade. Now, sure, if you buy them at the highs, you know, but again, I think you're going to have losing trades. You know what I mean? Like, okay, an example of this is like my current portfolio, right? So again, my current portfolio is this. Like, let me show you my current portfolio. Like, this is what I'm actually holding right now in blue chip stocks, right? I'm not going to be specific about like entries and exits, but like on my current portfolio, I'm up about $1,000, right? Like, this is what it looks like. We're green, 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 red, green, 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 red, green, red, green, 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 slightly break even, break even, break even, down, green, break even, green, green, down, green, green, down, green. So again, like you can see in my portfolio, most of these are green. Out of like 30 plus stocks, a large majority of them are green. We only have how many actual losing trades? I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna exclude. I'm gonna exclude the break-even ones where I'm down like $1 or I'm up $1. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So out of 30 stocks, I am red in 6 of them. You know what I mean? And so I think you're going to have losing positions. You're going to have losing trades. There's a couple things. Number one, you have to position yourself in a way in which the companies that you're buying are healthy companies. I don't want to buy a company that's up huge. Not, at least not most companies. I don't want to buy something that is just crazy big in terms of gains. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in Microsoft right now, but I'm not buying it, is the easiest way to put it. Like, I'm in Microsoft right now, but I'm not buying it. And my average price on Microsoft is $3.12. So I'm up basically 25% on my Microsoft trade, percentage-wise on Microsoft. You know, again, I could say the same thing for a lot of these. I'm in PayPal right now. My average price in PayPal is 51.40. I'm in Snapchat right now. My average price in Snapchat is $9.27. It's at almost 17. I'm in the SPY right now. My average price on the SPY is 424s. It's at 490s. So I think when I'm buying it up, it's at specific time frames. I'm not just kind of buying it up when it breaks highs. And I think if you're smart with where you enter positions and you dollar cost average, and again, I'm targeting only stocks that I'm okay with. Any position that I'm skeptical of, like the ones you mentioned, I'm taking noticeably smaller positions than other stocks that I'm just much more confident in. Like Apple is one that's obviously going to be fine long term, right? Like Apple's going to be a successful company long term. You know what I mean? Everybody understands this. But there's other companies where I'm certainly less confident in. Like I'm in GameStop, but I'm certainly less confident in it. But we're also in stuff like Coca-Cola. Our average price in Coca-Cola is $52.60. It's at $59.70, basically $60. We're in Honeywell. Average price is $186. We're at $202s currently. Nike, average price in Nike is $104. We're down a little bit at Nike. Oracle, we're in at $99. It's at $114 roughly. We're down a little bit on Pfizer as well. We're in Pfizer too. PayPal, same thing. RTX, we're in at 72s. It's at 90s. It's been a really easy year to make money, just to clarify. But Coca-Cola pays a divvy and it moves up really nicely for Coca-Cola. Like if we look at this, and again, somebody got mad at me for saying bro so much. Yeah, it's just a habit. I think it's a Louisiana thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I call my son bruh or bro. But I think it's just a slang. Y'all have to deal with it. You'll be all right. What's the symbol? Fed. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Yeah, we'll see, Al. Today's an interesting day just because we've got earnings, Jolts report. Jolts report does move markets. That's why a lot of people are watching it. It's because it's a big thing that generally moves markets. Yeah, it's probably a Southern thing. The FOMC meeting's tomorrow, Smoke. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow at 2 p.m. and then at 2:30 is the press conference. We'll stream the entire thing live. Are we that sensitive nowadays? I think it's mostly people who... I think sometimes I'm very anti-crash predictions because I just see so many people predicting crashes. Again, the reason I'm like this is really because I'm protective over my following as well. I've seen so many people predict crashes over the last few years and then get wildly wrong with it and then turn toxic when they've been wrong. That part of me feels I feel like it's my duty to discourage that. But I also try to tell people yo, we might crash. I don't know. But I think most of the people getting weird are people who are on the other side of that. If you're wildly predicting market crashes every day and the market's ripping up, breaking highs, you might feel some type of way about what I'm saying. And that's understandable, I guess. Y'all get over it. Yeah, FOMC's tomorrow. Yeah, everybody wants to be Michael Burry is the problem. They watch The Big Short, it romanticizes Burry. But again, it's just not that easy to predict crashes. It really isn't. Again, you see a lot of big YouTubers with millions of followers, like stock market YouTubers, always putting up thumbnails like this saying the market's going to crash and they're going like this. And you know what I mean? I get it. I really do get it. It's easier to get clicks. It's one of the reasons 24/7 news coverage. They're constantly, the sky's falling. The market's about to go down. The world's going to end or whatever they say. And, why do they do that? Because it gets clicks, it gets views. It's much more boring for me to say, hey, the market might not crash. All right, so I'm in Walmart right now. Do you own KO in honor of Warren Buffett? What do you mean? You think I'm just buying Coca-Cola as a salute to Buffett? No, I'm buying Coca-Cola because it's got one of the nicest long-term charts. Look at this chart. I'm in Coca-Cola. I've been in it. Look at the long-term chart. And that's why I'm buying Coca-Cola. It also pays dividends, too. So, again, with dividend investing, you want to find companies that pay divvies that also have beautiful long-term charts. And I think Coca-Cola fits into that. Coca-Cola just very strong long-term chart. That's why I'm buying it, I'm not really buying this for divvy purposes. but it's just kind of an added plus for me, you know. I've never seen it as a good movie. The Big Short. Big Short's one of my favorite movies. And again, I have to credit it to getting me started in investing and trading. Like, that movie really did get me started in trading and investing. I was a poker player, watched The Big Short, realized you could basically trade using your brain and make money in that regard. And so I came home and I researched penny stocks and day trading. I saw Tim Sykes, Financial Freedom. You know, millionaire students, look at my building schools overseas and all this nonsense. Buy my trading course, guys. You know, eventually you realize that it's all it's a fugazi, it doesn't exist. And you gotta, if you really want to make money, you can't trade like that. It still catches some people though. Hey bud, how you doing, man? Come here, bud. I love you, dude. Have a good day, buddy. Okay. Have a good day, bud. Love you, man. Hey, you alright? Yeah. Alright, dude. I love you, bud. He's pouty today. Yeah. I love you. Have a good day. Hey, just keep an eye on him. Try to cheer him up before he starts school.
No, he argued the entire morning.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to go to school, and now I'm going to be late. And I have
I know, but look, you'll have to be alright. Alright.
I've been late all last week.
I know. Here, Manny, I know, but you're going to have to stop being so anxious about it. You'll be fine. Okay? Love you. Man, my kids are just moody today. Moody. The market is a fascinating thing. It's not a Ponzi. You have to understand the market's job is to keep up with inflation. If you sit on cash, you're going to lose money over time. The market's job is to hedge against that devaluing of the dollar. And you do so by investing. You know, you do the same thing in real estate. You do the same thing buying gold. You know, it's all hedging against inflation losses over time. And again, like people, okay, so again, people are going to get mad and say I say the same thing over and over again. But you have to understand it in this way, right? One of the reasons the market goes up is because inflation gets worse over time. You know what I mean? Inflation gets worse. And so prices are more expensive. When prices are more expensive, what happens? A company's revenue goes up. When company's revenue goes up, what happens? Their stock price most of the time goes up with it, right? And so over time, stock prices are going to rise. The S&P 500 is going to go up, mostly, at least partly, because of inflation, you know? And so if you don't hedge against it by investing, you're losing money. It's one of the most important things to understand regarding markets. Wolf of Wall Street's a good movie. It's kind of sad, though. What should you do? What you should do is save your cash for dips and crashes. You need patience. Well, you can save some of it, but I don't think you should just sit around waiting for market crashes either. You know, I think if you're going to enter a long-term portfolio on crash periods, that makes sense, you know. But what year was The Big Short? Big Short was, it's just a movie. It dropped in 2015. You can see The Big Short came out in 2015. I started this channel in like 2016 or 2017. Pepsi chart? Let's take a look. Pepsi chart looks just as good as Coca-Cola. I think it's had a little bit larger of a pullback. Coca-Cola has been more resilient from the pullback, but still a very strong long-term chart for both Pepsi and Coke. Yeah, I've seen Dumb Money. It's good. Hey, thanks so much, AD. Today on earnings, AMD. Yeah, we'll see, brother. We'll see. Yeah, Tesla up a lot this morning, too. Tesla, the highs of the morning period for Tesla are about 196 or so. So let's let Tesla continue. Hey, what's up, Fortune? Yeah, GM did, I don't know if you're saying good morning or GM stock. GM did report earnings today. They were up a significant amount as well on earnings. Look at GM here. GM on the right side at 37.70s. Is AMD going to be a few hours before close, so it might increase? So AMD earnings drop literally at the closing bell. Literally at the closing bell, AMD earnings come out. So it's literally right at the close. AMD earnings are expected today at 77-cent profit EPS on $6.12 billion in rev. Their revenue is pretty high. Honestly, SPY dipping down a little bit, but again, the SPY broke lifetime highs right before the close yesterday. It's finally, it's just correcting a little bit, but it's really high up. Eric Clapton's Tears from Heaven. The reason why I wrote the song is still the saddest song ever. It really is the saddest song ever, bro. That's the first song I learned on guitar. And the reason I learned it is because my parents used to listen to this song in the 90s. Bro, I can't even think about that song. Dude, I can't even think about that song. It's like the movie My Girl, okay? Like, as an adult, why would you ever want to watch that movie? As a parent, I could never watch My Girl. Ever. You know? How could you watch that movie as an adult? Why would you ever want to watch that movie? You know, what kind of person wants to see that movie as an adult? You know what I mean? Anybody that knows. Y'all might think I'm just rambling about movies, but do not watch that movie. Do not watch that movie. As a parent, I could freaking never. It's like My Dog Skip. Saddest movie ever. Don't quote me, but word on the street is Tesla may hit 197 in reverse since it's still in the downtrend, but with this moment in the gap to 207, your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, I don't know. Tesla, it's getting up there. It's trying. There's two movies you should never, ever watch, especially if you're a parent. Cubano. One of them is My Girl. Okay? The movie My Girl, terrible movie. Never, ever, ever watch it. It's just the saddest thing ever. You know? Young Macaulay, just don't watch it. The other one is a song. It's Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven. Beautiful song, but just truly sad. Truly sad. Yeah, Jolts will move markets. It's a big influential thing for sure. Jolts report does move markets a lot. I watched My Dog Skip. The saddest movie ever, dude. Malcolm in the Middle, you know, and his beagle. I had a beagle as well. His name was Snoop. Most original name ever, but, you know. B attack Cubano is what happened. Yeah, that's the first song I learned how to play on guitar was Tears in Heaven. Beverage companies are having major issues with dates. They just keep raising prices. Sales keep falling. Outdated. Down or up, which is better. I'm assuming you mean with the Jolts report. We don't know what the market wants. I think the market is going to react negatively to higher job numbers, personally myself. But I might be wrong there. But again, I think the market might react negatively to job numbers. But again, I really don't know for sure. And I'm purely speculating here. So... Again, looking at our votes, 52% think bullish. All right, so we're going to do a poll on Twitter. Does the market want more or less jobs? Is a good poll here. Again, does the market want more or less jobs? I really don't know. It comes out at 10 a.m. I'm late to the stream today. Feels like I'm not getting sleep, dreaming way too much lately, and I feel unrested. Yeah, I've never seen that, Gardner. I did have a weird dream last night that I actually wrote down. See, I've been having super, super vivid dreams. I think it means that I'm either waking up from my sleep early or that I'm getting better sleep than normal. I'm not sure which one, but I've been having very vivid, very weird dreams, to be honest. All right, so here's my latest dream from last night. I was a contractor being hired from a group of specialists that were doing missions, invading this cave and hunting down, I'm just going to say, bad people. They wanted to know how well I could manage things, and they were like interviewing me like a job, and I was waiting for their approval for the job in an airport or something. The job would entail parachuting into the bayou area at night and doing the job. There's also something about selling my house, but I was undercover and wasn't really selling it, doing like a fake sale, and was not going to finalize it. Carol was there at one point, and we were undercover in Michigan. I guess as spies. That was my dream from last night. Again, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about here in that dream, but that was my dream. I wrote that down when I woke up this morning. Very vivid dreams lately. Very vivid dreams. Yeah, it's at 10 a.m. The Jolts report, the jobs report is at 10 a.m. today. I don't know, Yowzer. Dreams are freaking weird, brother. Was the Jolts report, and what does it do in the economy? The Jolts report is a job report. It's job openings. So a job opening counts as a specific position exists and there is work available. It could start within 30 days. There's active recruitment for that job. The job is open if it meets those three criteria. Basically, a higher than expected reading for Jolts means more economic growth and more jobs, right? So basically, how many jobs are opening up is what this report shows. And a higher reading means more jobs are opening, more economic growth, right? So what the market does is going to, that's going to be the context of what the market might want or not want. Yeah, super vivid dream, super strange, to be honest, but it's all good. Yeah, I don't take melatonin or anything like that, Matthew. GM ripping over the volume weighted average price. Tesla bouncing, or Tesla pulling back a little bit as well here. We'll see if it holds. Yeah, that's possible, Daphne. So we need less jobs. I don't know, Machado. I really don't know, brother. I think it depends on what the market wants. I think it depends on if the market's still fearing inflation or recession, right? If the market's still fearing a recession, it might want more job openings. If the market fears inflation still, which is very possible, it means the market wants less openings, less economic growth. All right, guys. Sorry, I have to give my son. Yeah. Anyways, CB consumer confidence and Jolts. They're both coming out at 10 o'clock. The Jolts report is much bigger. Yeah, I know I was muted. I was talking to my son. Yeah, super micro semiconductors flying up right now. That's one of the reasons microchip is bumping up today is super micro semiconductors. You can see it gapping all the way up to 550s from under 5. Big gains here. Nvidia flying up with it as well. Yo, bro, what if CB consumer confidence and Jolts come out differently? What are we following? What do you mean differently? Jolts report is the more influential. And so the Jolts report will be the true tell of what the market wants, more or less economic growth regarding inflation. All right, guys. Also, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep, funded account program in futures. They give you a demo and they test your skill. If you can pass the test, they fund you. If you can't pass the test, you know, again, if you can't pass the test, you're only going to lose what you pay for the combine. And this is incredibly powerful. Like, listen, day traders, again, they're a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased, right? But truly listen to what I'm saying, day traders. Don't just tune me out here. Most day traders lose money. If you think you're going to be an outlier, you're almost certainly not going to be. Almost all day traders lose money. It's almost necessary in the beginning because losing money causes you to have risk management. Prior to that, you're mostly just degenerate gamblers, right? And so one of the benefits of a funded account program is what they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill. The base one's only $49. You get a $50,000 demo. And if you can pass that test, you got to make $3K in profit on the demo without losing $2K and following the rest of their rules. If you can pass the test, they fund you $50K with a 90% split. And so if you get funded and you make $10K, they get to, if you get funded and make $10K, you get to keep 9 of that. They get to keep 1,000 and you get to keep your first 10,000 in profit. There's free funding coaches, tons of great resources, and it truly teaches you how to trade. And if you don't have that much equity, it's a great way to get funded. If you have enough skill, you can get funded, have a 90% split. The reward is very similar to putting the money up yourself. You get a 90% split anyway, but if you lose, you're only out $50. Most new traders, they put up thousands of dollars and they end up just losing all of that. And so in that regard, it only makes sense, team, to limit your risk in the beginning of your trading. Try a funded account program. In the futures market, again, you can look at the SPY and then you can look at Nvidia and see they look virtually identical. Like, look, this is basically the same as this, but I can day trade the E-mini price action, basically the SPY price action. In futures, no PDT rule. I can buy market, sell market. Again, you can see it's very similar if we zoom out. Like, this is basically the same as this. There's just no PDT rule on this left side here. Try out TopStep. It's the most legit one in the world. Again, they pay out millions, fund thousands to traders a year. Again, they are a sponsor of mine. Check out the link right there. Also, guys, like I always say, remember, I am terrible at this stuff and have no idea what I'm talking about. Good luck. Remember this, guys. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Good luck. Again, Jolts report coming out today. All right, so we did the poll about the Jolts report, guys. We did the poll. 67% of people think less jobs here. What do our YouTube? We said, well, today's Jolts report calls bullish or bearish market action. 52% say bullish. 27% said bearish. All right, guys. You guys ready? There's Nvidia dipping down. There's the E-mini. How Jolts affects the US dollar. People are more bullish today than yesterday, going in an insanely bad extreme greed area. What makes you think that, Yair? And again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just curious about your reasoning behind it. What makes you think that we're super extended on the upside, brother? Genuine question. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious. Again, if you haven't already, vote on our Twitter poll here as well. Here's our Twitter poll. John, you said to only DCA into blue chips. What do you mean? And? I mean, I'm not saying do whatever you want to do, bro. Again, I can't control what you do here. And there's me using bro again. You're welcome, guys. All right, team. What do y'all think about the new Porsche Macan EV? Would you rather have that or a Tesla Model S Plaid? So Kara and I watched the movie Napoleon. It was a good movie. It gave a lot of historical context to who he was. Microsoft expecting to report almost 60% jump in quarterly revenue. Its best growth in nearly 2 years, according to Reuters. Do y'all think it'll hit that number or no? Porsche for sure. No, you can't use TOS to trade Top Step. I use Quant Tower specifically for my platform. New here, have you ever showed your trading account? What? I mean, I showed you my profit. Like, this is my trading account in profit in TOS. Like, these are all my positions. You know, we're up about 1,000, give or take, in the positions right now. Which really isn't that bad because we got like 19,000 in equity. So we're up, you know, about 5% right now in the current positions. We took a lot off at the end of the year. But we're up about 5% or so. So I'll take it. Green is good. I heard the Tesla Model S Plaid has bad issues. SoFi, I'm in SoFi right now. I hope it goes up. SoFi had great earnings yesterday. We covered them. We're green in SoFi. Yeah, it's ridiculous that Napoleon was some dude on a power trip. Incredibly misleading. I mean, he was certainly on a power trip for sure. But I think everybody was back then. Like, there was a lot of, like, coups and, like, there was a lot of weirdness that happened back then. Like, everybody was taking over. Like, basically, it's what happens when you cut the head off of a snake. People position themselves for power. And he was one of the more justified leaders because he actually had, like, victories and stuff like that. And so he was a little bit more justified than the previous and the ones that followed him. But everybody was posturing for power back then in France. And again, he, I don't know. I think one of the things that you see is that earlier he had some great victories. As time went on, he suffered some massive defeats that were just huge casualties across the board. And that's ultimately why he lost power, to, you know, is because he just took some massive losses as well. A lot of the time people say Napoleon was just only winning, like he only won, but he lost a lot as well, especially towards the end. I have a feeling tomorrow's FOMC will cause markets to drop if they push the cuts out. I don't think they're going to do cuts. If we look at the probabilities, we're almost certainly not going to cut rates, in my opinion. Again, here's the CME watch tool. You can see expectations are about 2% for a cut. So it's just incredibly unlikely that we're going to cut rates tomorrow. Incredibly unlikely. Yeah, my guy went into Russia during the winter and thought he was about to beat him. You know, of course not. His P&L sucked at the end. Hey, my guy. Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is that he almost beat Russia in Russian. He almost beat the Russians in Russia. And he invaded them. You know, there's always this arguable thing. Napoleon always claimed to set Moscow on fire. But, like, they don't know whether the Russians did that intentionally to smoke out the French or what really happened there. Napoleon claimed it was him, but I think that was just kind of a, you know. Anyways, guys, slap the like button, hit the subscribe button. Nvidia dipping down a little bit here, team. So Nvidia dipping down. Tesla's still right at the 200 EMA. The dollar index is rising now, too. So the dollar index is starting to rise. So once you make the 3K Fed, that's when they fund you. Any profit after that is, as long as you follow, like, their conditions. There's a few conditions you have to follow. I would reach out to them and make sure. And again, if you want to try their funded account program, here's the link. But yeah, I think that's the way it works. But yeah, for sure. Hey, what's up, Trap? If you roll a dice. Yeah, it's just super unlikely we're going to cut rates tomorrow, guys. Again, most of the time, like, we see this a lot, and I'm going to say it again because I think we kind of have to. Most of the time, the Fed is balanced. Like, they very rarely go outside of expectations. So the Fed very rarely, like, goes against expectations. It's just not something they usually do. For whatever reason, like, contrarians are super loud in markets. So for whatever reason, contrarians are super loud. But, contrarians are super loud, but most of the time the Fed is going to go with what's expected. And so if 90+% of them expect a certain outcome, that's almost certainly what we're going to get. Very rarely. I've covered every FOMC meeting for years. Before it was really cool. Now at times you got a lot of YouTubers covering it because they're just kind of copycatting. But I've been covering this for years. The Fed has never gone outside of expectations in years. You know, I can't remember when the last time they did was. And so you can bet on most things that if the Fed expects a specific outcome, if analysts specifically expect a specific outcome, that's probably what we're going to get. And so the overarching point is tomorrow we are almost certainly going to pause, a continued pause. We're almost certainly not going to cut rates. We're almost certainly not going to raise rates. We're almost certainly going to pause. Now, if we do go outside of expectation tomorrow, so if we do decide to cut rates, which is more likely than rate hikes, if we do decide to cut rates, it'll be an interesting market. It'll cause a brash reaction on one side if we do go outside of expectations. A lot of people are going to assume that it's too early, though. Even if we do cut rates, a lot of people are going to assume that it's early. And so, you know. Hey, nice, bye. The article says with microchips. Yeah, that's why Tesla's up so much, Mandy, today, I think. Yeah, today we have Google, AMD, and Microsoft earnings. We're going to stream them all live at the closing bell today. It'll be a very busy day, but yeah, we're going to stream them all. All right, remember, we got the Jolts report at 10 o'clock, guys. 10 a.m. We got the Jolts report. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out our Discord. Our Discord's completely free. Doesn't cost a penny. And, yeah, check it out. I'll put the link up. All right, team. Hey, we're almost there. All right, so it's CFTC 4.41. All right, guys, so let's put this up. Nvidia dipping down some here. We're going to get ready to trade at the opening bell, guys. We're almost there. Get the link for what, Blake? Oh, for the Discord, bro. Yeah, sorry. I don't even know if that link works. Somebody tell me if that link works. I'm not sure if it does. Try to join that link. Let me know if it works or not. I'm not sure if it does or not. Okay, good. Thanks, I mean, I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, so there's the E-mini, there's Nvidia. Nvidia dipped it down pretty heavily. Supermicro Semiconductors had great earnings. That's kind of what happened. All right, cool. I think Neuralink is probably traded. Nothing is more strange than the YouTubers who have paid Discords. I could never charge for my Discord. I would just feel bad about it. The problem with fake Discords, the problem with Discords like that is a lot of the time, even the users are fake. Like, a lot of the time, the people chatting with everybody are fake as well. So it's like, if you think about it, in order... Okay, so if you're charging for a Discord, right? You got to make it seem more active than it actually is. And so in that regard, like, a lot of the members of the Discord are fake. Like, a lot of the members are fake to simulate activity. So they make it seem more active than it really is, so they can charge for it. Because again, if you go there and it's a ghost town, you know, nobody's gonna join your Discord. You know, yeah, we'll set a timer here. Let me set one. So the Jolts report drops in 1 hour. We'll call it 59 minutes. There we go. So here's the Jolts report timer. Hey, thank you, Manny, my guy. Thanks, brother. Yeah, we got the timer up. Big day today, though, with the Jolts report. Any other big news that drops? Again, the FOMC meeting, such a huge release today. We had the Case-Shiller data. I forgot the Case-Shiller data just dropped. My bad. I forgot about the Case-Shiller data. It didn't really move anything. Like you can see, the Case-Shiller data didn't really move. It's that Case-Shiller HPI, the house price index. It showed up at 5.4 versus 5.8, so lower than expected for the Case-Shiller data, I think. Let me make sure. Yeah, so it came in lower than expected at 5.8% versus 5 point. Oh, wait. Let me refresh this. Yeah, so the Case-Shiller came in at 5.4 versus 5.8% is what happened. Jolts report shows up today. 8.75 mil is what it's expected. 8.75 mil. Hey, thank you, Yelton. What's up, Lou? JP Morgan says that 82 BBL Brent is around 4 BBL above fair value, with 2 added to account for freight costs. Another 2 is geopolitical premium. JetBlue and Spirit file for expedited appeal of deal block. UPS plans to reduce the workforce by 12,000 as demand remains soft. Says again, what's eating UPS's lunch is this. All right, let's talk about it. I'm skeptical of UPS over time. I talked about this before. Right, I'm skeptical of UPS over time. The reason I'm skeptical is simple. You have to understand the Rockefellerian move that Amazon is doing. You know, back in the 1900s when oil companies were first getting big, Rockefeller was one of the richest people in the world. What he ended up doing was he cut out the middleman in business. He cut out the middleman, and then Roosevelt eventually came along and hit him with a bunch of, penalties for it. Created the modern monopoly laws as we know it. And so one of the things that you see Amazon doing is very similar to what Rockefeller did back then in the 1900s, which is Amazon's cutting out the middleman. Amazon has created their own shipper, their own shipping company, basically. Amazon Prime Shipping is much more efficient, much faster than UPS. And so what you see a lot of the time now is people don't use UPS. They don't use FedEx as much anymore. And they instead simply get by with Amazon Prime delivery. And it's much more efficient. It's just better. And so regardless of what, of course, there's still other reasons people need to ship things outside of Amazon, right? But the big pronounced effect of this is going to be market share, So historically, UPS and FedEx would be the ones that people would call if they needed something shipped. Nowadays, you don't really need them as much. You're still going to need them. There's always going to be utility for FedEx and UPS, but you can get things so quickly, so cheaply from Amazon that you don't really need them as much. They're just going to lose market share, I guess is the easiest way to put it. And I think that's bad for them over time. But here's a long-term chart of UPS. And again, it kind of makes sense. UPS has been downtrending most of the year. Still a really nice long-term chart, but you can see UPS has been downtrending since 2021. Since Amazon really started, you see the big obvious downtrend for UPS. UPS screwed up by selling Amazon the delivery system. Yep. The cause of what? Alright, so at least our Discord works. %, were Amazon packages. Interesting. I heard Amazon is only available in about 15 countries. Is that true? Yeah, but what a lot of people don't realize is that 15 countries might be... Amazon's now is in 58 countries. It reaches 1.2 billion people worldwide. So, Amazon's still available. US, Canada, Mexico, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain. John, you must have got an A+ in history. You know quite a bit. I know a little bit. I'm a kind of a history buff. I like history. John runs his hood. We try, bro. We try. Amazon spends almost 200K a day in boxes. Yeah, but they make so much money, it doesn't matter. They're opening up a place in South Africa, William. Amazon has a big contract with UPS. They use their shipping service a lot. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they don't, but I think it's going to be a bad deal for them. You know what I mean? I think it's just going to be a bad deal for them, you know? Yeah, Amazon Web Services actually is like the biggest profit bringer for sure. Amazon is huge in Europe as well. Yeah, I'm sure they are. You know, that makes sense. All right, guys. Hey, we got 20 minutes until the market opens. 20 minutes. We got the Jolts report dropping in about an hour. SPY dipping down a little bit after breaking lifetime highs yesterday. The question is, are we going to continue that today? We'll see. It'll be interesting to see. All right, team. So we do have the SPY up to 490.30s, 490.30s. Are the bulls out on Tesla? Tesla's up a lot. It's bounced all the way back. You know, it was at 180s for a period of time. You know, it dipped all the way down to like 180 exactly and then bounced exactly off of 180. It's back almost to 195 or so, right around 195. It's up nicely today as well. A lot of stuff's just waiting for the big earnings to come out. But yeah, here's Tesla. There's Nvidia on the right side too. Tesla started to dip some. But again, here's Tesla on the left side, breaking under the 200 EMA volume weighted average price spot. So again, we'll see if it holds. Beard div. A quant tower purchase? No, that's a Discord notification. That's me talking with somebody on Discord is what's in the background. The dollar index just cracked down here. So look at the Dixie. So again, the Dixie just fell. Went red on the day. Look at the Dixie. So the Dixie's red on the day. Let's see how it's going to affect like the NASDAQ here. Again, the E-mini broke lifetime highs. Q still flushing down again a little bit. It's at 427s. But again, usually there's an inverse correlation with like the dollar index and the Q. See, look, there's the dollar index still falling here. It's at 103.40s, 103.40s. Hmm. Hmm. What's up, Mark? CDTX FDA approval? Let's see. CDTX at 69. I don't know. It's just a sketchy, terrible looking penny stock to me, bro. In all honesty. Low liquidity, too. The volume's pretty light. It just looks horrible. Regardless of the news there, I just don't look like I'm going to mess with that. Just happened with my, for whatever reason, StreamYard just went down. I don't know what it was. We're back though. We're here. Let me put the screen back up. Yeah, that was weird. StreamYard sucks, dude. No offense. I mean, StreamYard's just not a good service. Yeah, I'm gonna have to here, guys, I'll be right back. When I do this, it might, for whatever reason, drop the stream. There we go, we're back. Yeah, we're just gonna use the Wi-Fi. That's gonna be the easiest thing. Why is gold up so much? I don't know. Gold. Regarding gold, I'm really not sure. Gold all the way up to 2060s. Wow, look at gold. Gold is pumping right now. I didn't realize gold was up so much. Look at gold over the last few minutes. Am I lagging, guys? Let me know if I'm lagging. Look at gold pump. Gold is making some moves here. Is everything clear? Am I lagging? Or it looks like everything's clear on my end. Test 1 2 1 2. I'm gonna put this up just to see if people can. You know, it seems like everything's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be right back, guys. Good to go? Okay, cool. I know how to fix this. Hold on. We're going to fix this. We're going to put in our Ethernet cord and plug it directly in. That should fix everything. Pretty clear. Gold's still churning up. Gold just broke highs on the day. Look at gold. All right, bear with me, team. Look at gold still pumping up. All right. Again, it might disconnect the There we go. I think we're back. This should be much better here. We plugged in our Ethernet cord directly. And so we should be clean and smooth now. Yeah, I know Ethernet's always going to be better. Dollar index still falling down, breaking lows. Look at gold rip, and look at the dollar index fall down. So let's look at the SPY and the Q here. Look at the Q. Q down to 426.90s. 426.90s. Yeah, that should have fixed it, and I think we're back. I just plugged in my Ethernet cord. Apple to 600,000 Vision Pros. Really, that many? All right, guys. Hey, we got 12 minutes here. 12 minutes. Remember, we got the Jolts job report at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. market time, we got the Jolts report. You can see the expectations at the bottom of the screen. And then after that, we've got earnings. All right, so again, the Q bounced it up a little bit. We're at 426s. We're going to get ready to trade some futures, too, with the opening bell. We'll get this ready. But look at gold rip. Look at the Q rip. Look at the dollar index pop. All right, again, we're going to be trading our Top Step funded account program. All right, again, this is going to be our Top Step funded account. Pull this up and get ready. Nice little bounce here. Part of me wants the continuation on this downward move and short this. We'll try it. Dude, I was about to short it and then we got the breakdown. Almost did it. It's all good. Weakness showing up. I'm watching the Dixie test lows. I'm going to short this, I guess. One contract at the NASDAQ. Short. Yesterday, we did have a nice little green day in futures. We made a little bit over 100 bucks. My job is to build up a cushion right now. So we got some green in here. Go ahead and lock that in. We just made like 30 or 40 bucks, I think, just now. Let me see. Yeah, we made $40 just now. So this is our funded account. So start of the day is okay. We got a nice little cushion. We were a little bit late on that short. We wanted it a couple minutes ago. And also, again, guys, like I always say here, remember, I am terrible at this stuff and have no idea what I'm talking about. Understand this rule right here, you know. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Remember, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Understand always. Top 3, no idea what I'm talking about. Traders in the world right now. And again, this is a funded account program in futures. They give you a demo, test your skill. If you can pass the test, they fund you. If you can't pass the test, you're probably going to lose less than putting up the money yourself and losing that. Most day traders lose thousands of dollars in the beginning. And this is just a way to limit your risk. If you can get funded, great. 90% split, some of the best rules in the game. Free funding coaches, tons of great resources. They've been around for over a decade. But again, if you fail, it's not the end of the world. And I think that's the point. There's the link. Check it out. All right, so the music just stopped. Let's put on my old music. Dollar index still pushing here. We got a little bounce up. Part of me wants to short this again, though. I'll short it. See if it gives us something. All right, so we're short the NASDAQ here. It's basically the QQQ price action. It might be choppiness ahead of the jobs report today as well. We got 8 minutes until the market opens. All right, so we're flat here. We're down. We're up 40. We're down 40 on this trade. Let's see if we get a breakdown flush. Is what we want. There we go. See if it continues. Completely flat on the day right now. Or no, we're slightly green. I like it. You're not humbling yourself. Oh, dude, I'm top 3 most humble trader ever in the world right now for sure. You know, you didn't know? Humility flows through me, sir. All right, again, we're waiting here. It looks like a short pattern, but again, we got 7 minutes until the opening bell. I'd love for the Q to reject here. We're basically trading the Q price action, again, to put it into perspective. The stream keeps freezing for you. It should be fixed. Is the stream still lagging, or was that a couple minutes ago? Hit the live button. Gabe, or no, who said that? Kane, hit the live button, bro. It's probably just you're not caught up with the stream yet. We plugged in our Ethernet cord a couple minutes ago, and it's been much better since. All right, so we're down a little bit on the day with this trade, maybe 25 bucks. Gold, though, just churning up, dragging equities up some with us. But I'd love to see a rejection here. I'm watching the SPY, though, bounce back and the Q. And so if I can get out, I will here sometime. The dollar index is still flushing down, though, cracking lows. And so I'm just going to cut this and get out. We're down like 50 bucks now on the day. The reason I'm getting out is because, again, if we look at gold ripping up number 1, and then look at the Dixie breaking lows down here. So look at the Dixie flushing down, looking weak. Just breaking down here. I keep having to hit the live button. Yeah, I mean, we plugged in our Ethernet cord a little bit ago. Tsla breaking highs too, so the lag should go away. Is the lag better in the last like 10 minutes now, team? 5 minutes maybe? I would reach out to them about the funded account rules. They're slightly different, I think, but reach out to them. Yeah, you can put it in fast forward mode, Kane, and it should catch you back up. Yeah, it looks like a good move to get out there. We needed that. I would just, again, one thing I will do, I will say today, guys, is you probably want to be pretty careful. You know, today is a day in which we have an economic report that's pretty big, dropping at 10 o'clock market time. What this means is that a lot of the time ahead of these big economic reports, there's choppy action. You know, so a lot of the time ahead of these big economic reports, the market's flat. So what I'm saying is be careful being really one-sided, really polarized to a specific direction, because it might be a point in which today we get choppiness until 10 a.m. when the report comes out. Good luck to everyone. Thanks, Carlos. Nvidia back up to 630s. It's kind of helping drag the market up too. If we look at the dollar still breaking down, which is usually a positive sign for markets. Again, usually the Dixie has an inverse correlation with markets. Nvidia up to 630s. There'll be a correction soon. It's just about trying to time it. Maybe. Yeah, the last week or so has been kind of tough, and that's normal. You know, again, day traders act like every day is green. It's certainly not like that. Most of the time, like, it's certainly every day is not green. I think you're going to have good weeks, good months, bad weeks, bad months, bad days, good days. You just got to be a little bit, you know, a good example is like you're going to have good and bad variance over time. Like poker is filled with this, right? You got good and bad poker variance. Trading's very similar. You might do everything right and still lose. You might do everything wrong and still win in trading and in poker, you know. Jolts job opening signal how many jobs are opening up in the economy. It's signal of economic growth. So a higher Jolts number means economic growth. Lower Jolts number means economic and labor weakness. And I think the market might want labor weakness, but again, we're certainly not sure of what the market wants here, especially with something like jobs where it's really nuanced. The Fed, Jerome Powell, has consistently stated he wants to push down the labor market. And that's opposite to convention where, you know, conventionally more jobs is good, economic growth is good. But it's a period of markets in which we're not so sure that that's what the market wants, if that makes sense. Yeah, we got the Fed meeting tomorrow, the Jolts report today. It could just be choppiness, so just be careful, guys. And that's really what the NASDAQ has given us over the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's just very choppiness, very choppy action. All right, team, we got a minute and a half left, Remember, 30 minutes after the open, we got the Jolts report going live. And then later on today, we've got Microsoft, Google, AMD earnings live as well. So be ready, team. It's a busy day. Yeah, Powell speaks tomorrow, does a press conference, does the FOMC decision at 2 p.m. And then at 2:30, there's a press conference. We're going to stream the entire thing live like we always do. We always stream this event live. So be ready for that, team. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I'm going to throw it in sub-only mode as well. I don't think I've done that today yet. And so we are going to throw it in sub-only mode. So if you have not already, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. Very choppy market right now. Very choppy market. We got 30 seconds until the market opens, guys. 30 seconds. And again, in 30 minutes, you can see the timer. We got the Jolts number dropping. At 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when Microsoft releases their earnings along with AMD and Google. Microsoft earnings are going to be at 5:30 market time, Eastern Standard Time. Their earnings call, Google's earnings call is going to be at 4:30. AMD's earnings call is going to be at 5 o'clock. All right, big pop up in the NASDAQ here. Big pop up in the NASDAQ. It's at 17.6K. 17.6K. NVIDIA moving up a little bit here. There's the opening bell. NASDAQ dipping down a little bit. We got the Q at 427.03. So the Q is moving a little bit. NASDAQ's moving a little bit. NVIDIA dipping down, rejecting at that 200 EMA volume weighted average price level. Big dip. Q's pushing up to test 427.30s here. 427.30s. The Dixie's still moving down. And you can see the NASDAQ starting to pop up a little bit here as well. Again, the SPY ripping up to 491s. Q tried to move up, big rejection. Look at NVIDIA fall. So NVIDIA falling down quickly here. Big upwick rejection in the NASDAQ. Q trying. The SPY is a little bit stronger than the NASDAQ. So tech is very weak at the opening bell today. It could be from top profit taking. Remember, markets ripped up breaking highs yesterday, lifetime highs. And so NASDAQ kind of climbing its way back up, trying to pump. NVIDIA retracing all the way back up. Very volatile opening bell here, team. We're going to just wait and let things settle down before we trade. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, team. I appreciate it. Everybody announce yourself, too. We put it in sub-only mode, so announce yourself. Show us that you're subscribed. I appreciate it. All right, look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA trying to break over the volume-weighted average price EMA level. Q trying to move up, too. We can watch it like Tesla here as well. Tesla down to all the way at 194s. Hey, thank you, Daryl. Again, we're watching NVIDIA pretty close. NVIDIA's had two candles. It created an opening range. Still right under the volume-weighted average price, 200 EMA, although Tesla is breaking down a little bit. Tesla looking weak for sure. NVIDIA still fighting, trying to get back over 630s. There's NVIDIA breaking over 630s. Tesla cracked lows though, so we kind of have like neutral price action. Tesla breaking down, NVIDIA shooting up with other microchip stocks. Look at NVIDIA at 631. at the opening bell, 631. All right, Nvidia at 632.50, 632.60s. Look at Nvidia shoot up here, dragging the NASDAQ up with it. Dollar index is still falling down a lot. So again, microchip stocks very strong this morning, very strong. The SPY very green as well. At the opening bell, that is. Still red on the day slightly. Look at the NASDAQ. 4 or 5 really big green candles at the opening bell. Look at that. Where's Apple at? Dollar index still cracking lows. Apple shooting up to almost 192s this morning. That's nice. We did add a little bit to our Apple position this morning, so that's a good little bounce to see. Tesla bouncing back up a little bit at 194s as well, retracing back up some. Let's watch Nvidia. Nvidia is now over the 200 EMA volume weighted average price level. Tesla almost at 194.50s. So Tesla trying to fight back. Nvidia pulling back a little bit now too. Hey, thanks for the subs, team. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Look at the NASDAQ still rip up. So NASDAQ all the way up here at 17.7 thousand roughly, almost 17.7K. Let's watch Tesla. Tesla's still under that 200 EMA volume weighted average price level on the bottom right chart right here. These are pretty big milestone levels that it has to fight its way back over. And so again, we'll see if it holds. Apple pushing up towards green on the day. Apple now technically green, or at least was for a split second. Apple battling a major level here. Nvidia breaking all the way down under the 200 EMA volume weighted average price level. I'm going to buy this. We're in one contract of the NASDAQ here, one contract. Big retracement. Oof. Big rejection. It might be choppy. I'm going to get out here. I'm going to take the small loss. It's just too risky. And it might be a bad decision. But I see Nvidia all the way under the 200 EMA volume weighted average price level. I see Apple rejecting at the 200 EMA VWAP level as well. So I just don't trust it. I'd rather take a small loss than a big loss here. Look at that big red candle in Nvidia. And I might trade it a little bit quieter today based off of the Jolts report coming out live. I don't want to take too big of like L's. Tesla rejecting at the volume weighted average price. SPY ripping up though. SPY is very green today. Tesla's starting to crack lows though. So that might drag tech down. We'll see. Yeah, there's the big rejection here. So this is what I didn't trust. This is why I got out. Depends on what Apple does. Apple's such a heavily weighted stock. I think Microsoft is actually the heaviest weighted stock, though, and everything. Tesla just cracked lows of the day, though. Right? So with everything down like that, and with the jobs report coming out, just be careful. We still got 25 minutes here, guys. 25 minutes before the Jolts report goes live. I'm going to go ahead and buy this now. I think Apple is looking kind of strong and got a big bounce spot here. Depends on what Tesla does, though, but... All right, we got out of half of that there. I'm going to go ahead and lock in the rest. So we just made a little bit just now. We'll see if we can scalp some more. There's Nvidia back up, so that looks very strong. We got to watch Tesla here, though. Tesla is the weak signal. Yeah, I think Microsoft's the heavily weighted stock now. See, but what's strong here is Nvidia. Nvidia back up, but see, very flat too. We have this range on Nvidia. I think we got to wait for it to break. See if Tesla can fight its way back. All right, so we got a little dip here. Watch Tesla. Tesla's going to be a big influence. Apple's still technically green on the day, though, but, like, I might buy this. There we go. We got one contract at the micro NASDAQ, trading a little tight. I was going to buy more, but I never really got a chance to. See if we get a little dip that I can add some more here. All right, so we're going to add a little bit there. All right, so we got two contracts now. See if Nvidia can retrace back up. All right, just took out half there, locking in some more profit here at the top. Taking small scalps on the way. We're trading small until the Jolts report goes live. Apple's still very sideways here with markets. Adding on a pullback again. AMD very bullish. Yeah, AMD actually breaking over highs. That looks very strong. Big retracement back up. Trying to add a little bit more here. All right, we took half off there. I'm gonna go ahead and lock that out too. So we've had a good string of green trades. So we're right around highs. Apple's starting to dip pretty profoundly here too. Microsoft's starting to churn back up though. So Microsoft's trying to make its way back. And again, Microsoft is the more heavily weighted stock. See, Apple's falling fast though. Tesla's falling quickly too. We got one more ad that we can fix our average here and try to protect the trade. Took half off there, locked it in. Let's see if we can get another little bounce. I don't mind trading this chop. But Apple's starting to really turn. The good news is that Microsoft is pushing up to save it though. There's Tesla popping back up a little bit too. Ooh, big drop. I'm gonna add to this. Microsoft's starting to fight its way back up, so I'm just gonna hope we get another bounce here. Again, we're trading light ahead of this economic report day. Here we go. Tesla's starting to fight back. Apple bouncing back. Microsoft's still battling up there. Again, we're kind of flat on this position. This is taking too long. I'm going to cut this. That looks like it's about to break down. All right, guys. Again, we got the Jolts job report today, guys. Remember, we got the Jolts job openings report. Got a little pop back up. All right, we got CB consumer confidence data as well. Apple is what's bouncing back up a little bit. AMD's looking okay. Tesla's still down there though, but AMD had a big run up, and then Apple is pulling back. Very choppy open like we thought we might get. All right, so we're testing the highs here. Tesla rejected though, so did Apple. This looks weak. Although we do have maybe like a wedge pattern coming through here. All right, guys, we got 15 minutes until the Jolts report goes live. 15 minutes. See what Apple does. Apple at 191s. Yeah, so again, it looks weak. You can look at all the blue chip stocks to see what they're doing. Apple breaking under the volume weighted average price. Microsoft under both the 200 EMA and the VWAP level. AMD dipping down. Nvidia dipping down. Now, maybe that means we're going to bounce soon. I don't know. But I guess we could try that idea after we got the large pullback. Half off there. Again, the job report goes live in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Kind of a neutral day. Like, we're just kind of playing around with micros because the volume is so light. Nvidia's flushing. Tech is green big time before open. Tech's not really super green. Most stuff is actually red since the opening bell. Microsoft is red since the open. AMD is slightly break even. Nvidia is super red since the opening bell. I wouldn't call it green though. Nothing's really green in my opinion. We're trading small right now, just trying to limit our risk because of potential choppiness. So we're like, I think we might be up a little bit over the last few trades. Look at Nvidia fall here. I don't like this fall for Nvidia though. Yeah, I'm going to limit this. Nvidia looking very weak and kind of in a free fall, so I'm going to get out there. Coffee time. Yeah, of course we're doing the meeting tomorrow. We'll do the meeting tomorrow. All right, guys. We got about 500 people here live. We still got the Jolts report dropping in about 13 minutes or so. 13 minutes, 12 minutes or so. Looking at our poll numbers, we asked people, will Jolts report cause bullish or bearish market action? Bull. I'm going to end this poll, and we're going to do a different poll. The poll is going to be before the Jolts report starts. Does the market want higher or lower job openings, or Jolts job opening numbers? Does the market want higher or lower Jolts job numbers? Higher, lower. Vote on the poll. Let me know what you think. We might actually switch this to a combine account right now and play with it ahead of this report. Let's see. Okay, let me see where this number is. All right, so this is one of our combine accounts that we're switching to, just to limit our risk right now. And we'll switch to the regular NASDAQ. Play with this a little bit, but we do have choppy action. I'm gonna buy this and see if we can get a gain here. And again, this is a combine account, so we're gonna take noticeably more risk. Our job is to build up a cushion in it first. All right, so we just made 50 bucks. All right, very choppy action. We could short towards the top if we're going to follow the neutral pattern. Because again, we got 10 minutes here, guys. We got 10 minutes. I see AMD rejecting a little bit, though. NVIDIA tried to make a move back up, but it still looks bearish. So I'm going to take a risk and short it, and I might lose this whole account. Again, we're just playing around with this. But I'm going to short because I see a couple bearish signs. There we go. All right, we just locked in that short. We're up about 100 bucks on this one. Tesla fighting its way back though, back up to 194. Almost come back all the way down from its, or all the way back up from its red open. Tesla opened up very red, dipped all the way to 192s. It's almost back to 194s here. Really flat market action right now though, team. Very flat. Lower Jolts. Yeah, I think less job numbers might make the market optimistic, but I don't know for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's super nuanced and it varies a lot, report to report. Like, what the market actually wants varies heavy, like report to report. You know what I mean? Like, it certainly varies report to report a big amount. Hey, what's up? What's up, team? Uber all-time highs again. What's a good number on the report? Define good, Jamie. We don't know what the market wants. We don't know if the market wants higher or lower. I'm going to buy the market now. I see a lot of stuff trying to rip back up. Let's see what NVIDIA does here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy this. We got a cushion on the day in our combine account. Remember, this is a combine account, so we're just playing with this one so we can limit our risk ahead of the Jolts report. We got about a $100 cushion on the day. And we're just kind of trading the chop so we don't give up too much. But again, define good. We don't know what the market wants. We don't know if the market wants higher or lower than expected data. Take half off there, lock it in. All right, so now we're up about $130 in this combine account, building up a profit. And again, if you want to be a part of this combine with me or try to trade a combine with me, you can get the base one for 49 bucks. There's the link. Great way to help support your boy here on this channel. Appreciate the love, guys. Top Step's the most legit funded program in the world. They are a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased, of course, because they pay me money. But I think it's genuinely useful. Let's traders test their skill. If they're good enough to pass it, they can start with a small sum of money and get between 50 to 150K in funding. If they lose, They're only out what they pay for, which the base one's only $50, less than that actually, 49. But again, it teaches them how to trade. Once you're funded, you get a 90% split, so your split's pretty similar to putting the money up yourself. You're just risking so much less, and I think that's very beneficial in day trading. And you can day trade the E-mini, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, silver. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stocks. There's just no PDT rule. And again, of course, I'm biased, but check them out. There's the link. All right, guys, we got 7 minutes here. 7 minutes to the Jolts report. We got 7 minutes. What's up, Spoken? Cheers for the streams. Appreciate it. My trading sucks, but long-term investments are working. Hey, nice, man. Happy for you, dude. It's 2 steps. The market 100% wants lower job openings. I don't know. I don't know if that's what the market wants or not. I'm really not sure. Hey, what's up, Ed? All right, guys. Jolts report in 7 minutes here. 7 minutes, guys. Slap that like button. Hit the subscribe button. We got a little flag pattern that I kind of like. The only problem is Tesla's rejecting at the VWAP here. That's usually a negative sign. Apple's dipping down some. That looks weak. Microsoft trending negatively, although the technical pattern overall on the NASDAQ looks strong. I mean, it looks like a bullish pattern. Depends on what NVIDIA does here, I guess. I'm just kind of trading balance here, though. And so we got a little cushion on the day. See if we can build up some more. I like this little move. Let's see if it holds. Nice. We just locked in a little bit more, so we're up about 180 or so. 180 in this combine. Just trading it light, trading it easy. Yeah, but that's a sketchy, low float, low liquidity penny stock, Corey. I'm just not about it, you know. I'm up on my live account as well, just kind of holding out scalping. Yeah, I mean, again, the Jolts report coming out live today, guys, in 4.5 minutes. It's just, again, you got to remember, this report is, man, look at Tesla rise. I'm going to buy into this weakness. Remember, this report's probably going to cause choppiness, flat action ahead of this report. We're kind of trading the chop right now. There we go. I just made a little bit under $100 on the Combine account. Here's me on the Combine account today. We made about $260 or so. The reason I'm buying this is because I see Tesla starting to fight its way back up. I see NVIDIA try to move back up some as well. AMD is still pretty weak, and Microsoft is one of the weaker stocks today. But yeah, we have oil on Friday. We've got a bunch of stuff Friday. We've got unemployment, non-farm payrolls, a bunch of stuff dropping Friday. So we actually have a lot of stuff coming out on Friday here. Very busy day. Also, guys, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the notification bell. Remember, we are less than 130 subs away from hitting 123K. We'll break that almost certainly today with all the big earnings today as well. At least by tomorrow, we'll hit that. I'm 400 away from passing the Combine. Hey, good luck, brother. Good luck. Yeah, I mean, again, it's probably pretty flat ahead of this report. Microsoft's starting to flush down. Tesla's right at the 200 EMA, and again, we got 2 minutes here, team. 2 minutes. Hey, congrats, Underground. Congrats, brother. All right, team. Here we go. We got 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. Again, we get a bunch of people for these economic reports because we cover them quickly here. So get ready. The Jolts report's going live very soon. Very soon for the Jolts report. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We are ready here for the Jolts report. We got a minute and a half, guys. Market starting to bounce. Let's see if we break out of this volatility here. See if we break out of this volatility. About 700 people here live. 1 minute, team. 1 minute. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream here, team. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. We got 1 minute here, team. 1 minute. Again, we're expecting 8.75 million. 8.75 million. For CB Consumer Confidence, we're expecting 115. They both drop in 1 minute here. 1 minute for the Jolts report and CB Consumer Confidence, guys. 1 minute. Let's see what they show up as. Here we go. 40 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. You want to make sure your live button looks like this. You want to make sure it's nice and red. You want to make sure your live button has a red dot next to it and make sure you're caught up on the stream. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Get your last minute predictions out in chat. Here, this is a little bit off. We got 30 seconds left. 20 seconds. All right, guys, here we go. Happy New Year. Yeah. 10 seconds, guys. 10 seconds. Let's watch the market here. Here's the NASDAQ on the left. We got Tsla on the right. We can put gold up as well. All right, here's the report. The report ended up showing up at... There's live. There's the reports dropped. Jolts report showed up at 9.02 million, higher jobs number than expected, 9.02 million. The CB consumer confidence was mostly flat at 114.8, but higher than expected job numbers, signaling economic strength. The market does not want that. Again, it's opposite to convention. As we said many times, the market probably does not want more jobs. More jobs is equaling negative downward responses in markets. Most of the markets are dropping down. And again, the Jolts report showed up at 9.02 million. 9.02 million versus 8.75 million expected. Higher than expected jobs numbers. CB consumer confidence was basically flat with higher jobs numbers than expected. And the market is, again, not liking this report. Looking weak, breaking down here. Sorry for yelling, but hey, we cover this data quick. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. There's the Jolts report, 9.026 million. CB consumer confidence came in at 114.8, 114.8. Again, 9.026 million, 8.75 million expected. The market does not love it. It's not loving life. It is breaking down a lot. Break it down weak here, guys. Break it down weak. AMD is looking weak as well at lows. NVIDIA is looking weak as well at lows. Apple is testing the 200 EMA. Microsoft at 410s. Again, as we said, the market does not want more jobs, and the market does not like this job report. I told you guys. If you want to know how much the market's fearing inflation, look at the jobs report. Big red action from this jobs report. All right. So again, Jolts report showed much higher jobs than expected, and the NASDAQ looks like this. All right, that is when you know the market fears inflation. Again, this is how you know the market feels inflation. So this is interesting ahead of the meeting with Powell. Very interesting. Big bounce back though. Big bounce back. I'm gonna short this. Very risky time to short, but that's okay. We've got a $300 cushion on this account on the day. I'm gonna kind of add to it as it bounces up. Take a large position now since we can. But if we make a big amount of money, I guess we'll take profit into it as well. We'll short it a little bit more. All right, we just took half off, made about 150. Just made about, just made a pretty big gain here. Pretty big gain on our combine account. Look, we just made over 500 here, 530 on our combine account. You love to see it. You love to see it. Let's see if it continues here. And again, if you want to take part with me in this combine, Top Step is a great way to learn how to trade. If you want to day trade, do not put up thousands of dollars yourself. Most people lose in day trading. A large majority of people will lose their first account. So you can either put up thousands and risk that, or you could try a funded account program. Top Step's the most legit in the world. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year, fund thousands a year. What they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill. And if you could pass that test, they fund you. Just taking the challenge builds your skill, but if you lose, you're only out $50 for the base one, $150 for the top one. The top one you get $150K in funding with a 90% split. And again, so once you're funded, you get 90% anyway. But if you lose, it's much less risk than putting the money up yourself. Great way to learn how to day trade. There's no PDT in futures. You can day trade short, buy market, sell market, all that good stuff in futures. No PDT rule, and the patterns are very similar to blue chips. You can trade essentially the SPY, essentially the QQQ price action, and what's called the E-mini and the NASDAQ. But again, I'm biased, of course, because they're a sponsor and they pay me money. But you can check out the link. Great way to learn day trading still, regardless of that bias. Yeah, we're always loud, bro. People have correlated me with an auctioneer. And the market goes down and the market goes up. What's the other one they say? They say I'm an auctioneer. They say I'm in horse races. I'm like horse races sometimes with the market open. We get louder the louder the report. If you think I'm loud now, wait until tomorrow with FOMC meeting. We got Microsoft earnings. We got AMD earnings, Google earnings this evening. Tomorrow we have the FOMC meeting. Thursday we've got Amazon, Apple, Meta earnings. We'll be super loud, bro. Good data for market? No, not good data. Still trying. Oh, we're going to stay loud. I was thinking you should make a great boxing play-by-play announcer or any sport for that matter. Hey. Yeah, I mean, the market doesn't want economic growth. If you want to know why the market's dipping down here, guys, what we explained prior to this report is that the market fears inflation. Why does the market fear inflation, and why does the market, the market fears inflation? How do we know it fears inflation? Is because more economic growth, more jobs, signaled this type of negative reaction. Why? Because more people working means more people spending, and more people spending is worse. Businesses raise prices the more people that buy stuff, right? Again, I always use the same example. If you sold bubblegum and you sold them for 25 cents a piece and you put out 100 every day, and every day those hundreds were sold out, and you did that for a large sample size, what are you going to do? Eventually, number one, you're probably going to put out more bubblegum, but you're also going to bump the prices up because you can't. You know, you're going to raise prices on bubblegum from 25 cents to 30 cents. You know, thus inflation is taking effect because more people are buying, right? And so again, that's one of the reasons more people working signals more inflation, is because more people working means more spending, and more spending means higher inflation problems. Now, I will say this is early. And so we've got an initial reaction. It's not the biggest negative reaction, and the market broke highs yesterday. So, you know, sometimes the first reaction is wrong, and that's certainly something we could see here. But yeah, I'll wear earplugs tomorrow. Definitely need to. Top 3 loudest streamers in the world. All right, Nvidia's starting to push up, guys. Nvidia's starting to push up. AMD pushing up. Apple pushing up a little bit. Let's see if we start to fight back from this. So why is gold dropping as a hedge against inflation? Gold's mostly dropping because the rest of the market is dropping and vice versa. You know, gold is a hedge against inflation. But again, it's also following the broad markets most of the time. You know, so like most of the time the SPY is dropping, gold is dropping with it, and vice versa. So the SPY and gold most of the time have a positive correlation, but it varies. Microsoft earnings are at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll cover it. We'll be streaming live when they drop. Again, subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. But yeah, we'll be streaming live when they come out. All right, market's starting to bounce back. Again, today's a big day. So outside of Jolts, we just got a lot of stuff coming out. What are you guys talking about? This is the best streamer, the best, definitely top 3. YouTuber, the best. Day trader news, and it's free. Thank you, appreciate it. Honor your wish. You the best. God bless you. Hey, thanks so much, JMH. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much. All right, AMD and NVIDIA testing highs up there. Let's see if it continues. Tesla's still neutral. Apple flat as well. Yeah, we try to cover, like, I'm not trying to be a day trading guru. So, like, we day trade. I certainly don't claim to be even a good trader or an expert at all. We just try to give people free market data, free economy data, economic reports, earnings reports. We cover it all live so people have kind of a reliable place to see all these different reports and markets. And so that's what we try to do here. Again, and we're just honest. We try to be honest about everything, and we're certainly biased in sponsors' favor, of course, because, you know. And so again, if you haven't already, check out our sponsors. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Let's see if we get some good action here today. Again, starting to bounce back, though. Interesting market for sure. Kind of still pretty flat, though, in neutral. I think the market might still be waiting for the big earnings that come out today. We got a lot of big earnings coming out today for sure, you know. You know, another one of my sponsors is a company called Chart Prime. It's a trading view service you can use in stocks, crypto, forex, futures, whatever you want to use it as. I challenge you to backtest it yourself. It's genuinely pretty impressive. Like, here's today's. You know, we got a little another signal somewhere. Look at that strong signal there. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, so like, look at this strong signal here. Beautiful upward movement from that strong signal. And again, you can use this on anything with a signal on TradingView. Short signal here worked. Strong signal. You could even say this one maybe didn't work, right? But this one worked. This one definitely worked. This one worked. This one definitely worked. Look at the huge breakdown trend. And then this one definitely worked as well. Look at the huge move up. And so just 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 out of 5 didn't work today. It's 80%. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. And again, I challenge you to like backtest this yourself. You can figure out where it's working and what it's working on. They have free oscillators, or they have not free, but they have oscillator screeners, back testers. You can use this on any time frame of a chart as well. You can look at like a 1 hour chart also if you want like longer term price action. And again, pretty impressive. Short signal, strong buy signal showed up days ago, and we've still been moving up on a daily chart or an hourly chart. Look at this strong sell signal, beautiful breakdown, buy signal here, beautiful rip up. They're not always going to work. This one worked as well. This one worked. This one was wrong, but this one worked. This one worked. And so again, backtest it yourself. Pretty impressive. It's a company called Chart Prime, trading view service. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Of course, nobody can. They're a sponsor of mine as well, but check them out. We'll be back later on, guys. We'll be back a little bit later on, guys. Again, today alone. Remember, guys, today alone, we've got Microsoft earnings, AMD earnings, Google earnings. Tomorrow we have the FOMC meeting. We've got PMI data. We've got a bunch of stuff dropping tomorrow. Thursday we've got Amazon, Apple, Meta earnings, and we're going to stream all of this stuff. It's very, like, my channel is very reliable in this. We will stream all of this stuff live for free. We don't charge a penny for anything. We have sponsors. We have, you know, stuff like that. But we don't charge for any of our content. There's no paywalls behind any of our content. Even becoming a member, you don't really get anything extra because we're not charging for anything. You know, we have no paywalls. Becoming a member is just a way to support us. You can see Beardless John emojis, my wife Carol, and my lovely dog Rosie. Check them out. And yeah, good luck, guys. We'll be back later. Again, we will be back live streaming at the opening or at the closing bell. We will be back live streaming all the major earnings that dropped today. We'll be busy all afternoon. And so remember, be here, be ready. Market's kind of flat right now. We don't know what the market's going to do, so just be smart, be careful. Again, I'll see you guys later. Y'all be safe. Dominic says, thanks for all you do, man. Becoming a part of my morning listening. Minimum top 3. A lot of volatility to come this week. Looking forward to the loud voices. Hey, we'll be super loud. Definitely top 3 loudest traders in the world, Dominic. I appreciate the love, brother. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'll be back later, guys. Y'all be safe. Hey, thanks, Blaze. Yeah, peace and love.